What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 7WR. Chapter 151 Ant's Actions, Dragon Palace Island Falls. Advertise here. Chapter 151 Big Mom's Actions, Dragon Palace Island Falls. Captain Lin An, I know this is something that we, the Fishman Island, did wrong. Looking at Lin An's appearance, Jinbe's heart tightened. Of course he knew that even if they were forced to do nothing about this matter, a mistake would be a mistake after all. Even in order not to experience unnecessary losses for the Fishman Island even knelt down and surrendered without even the slightest resistance. Such was the betrayal of Whitebeard, and it was the kind of betrayal with little thought or hesitation. There is no need to say more. Lin An directly stopped Jinbe's words. Eyes were on Whitebeard. Father, what should we do now? Although Whitebeard has now intentionally or unintentionally transferred the rights of the Whitebeard Pirates to Lin An even has the right to mobilize the entire Whitebeard, 5th 9, pirates without the knowledge of Ubird. However, having said that, this decision about the war between the four emperors still requires Whitebeard's nod. The words of the Fishman Island. Whitebeard looked down. Didn't reply immediately. After the Summit War and the Four Emperors' War with Kaido, the Whitebeard Pirates can be said to be extremely weak. Even if there are personnel from the reserve island to supplement. But it's just that the personnel don't look so dilapidated. In terms of combat effectiveness, there is a huge difference. The Big Mom pirates are indeed inferior to the current Whitebeard pirates in terms of high-end strength. But as long as the front is opened and widened, then the weakness in the overall strength will be reflected. If you start a war with Big Mom rashly, you may expose the Whitebeard pirates to the sphere of influence around the world again. When the time comes, other forces will be caught in troubled waters. There's more to the Whitebeard pirates than it might seem. In the New World Four Emperors, apart from Whitebeard himself, there are other three emperors, marine, other New World forces, and even many Grand Lines and other forces in the Four Seas. Once they fight with the Big Mom pirates and fall into a small-scale battle like a local encounter, the Whitebeard pirates will definitely be approached by others. By that time, the Whitebeard pirates might suffer a devastating blow. The Battle of the Four Emperors cannot be fought. Today's Whitebeard pirates can't afford it either. The most important thing for the Whitebeard pirates right now is to give as many newcomers as possible. However, there are still some stances that should be made. That's good, let's go and have a look, and ask Neptune and Lin An what they mean. If you want to play with me Whitebeard, I don't mind. Listening to Whitebeard's words, Jinbe below was both bored and happy. Sadly, Whitebeard was visibly annoyed. The protection of the four emperors comes at a price. Kaido's asylum is to pay money, and the amount of money depends on Kaido's mood. Big Mom's protection is to provide Big Mom with candy. The amount of candy is extremely huge. It can be said that among the four emperors, she is the most ruthless one in oppressing her subordinates. The protection of Shanks and Whitebeard is much simpler. Tell the two of them that Shanks and Whitebeard feel that they can, or get along well, then hand over your own flag to the other side, and it will be regarded as taking over. Of course, there are still some tributes that should be paid. However, compared to facing the endless plunder of pirates and other forces, those so-called tributes can be ignored. It is so simple that it is almost free to get the protection of a top power in the world, which is simply a good thing. However, in order to avoid being destroyed by the Big Mom pirates, the Fishman Island directly gave up Whitebeard's protection and joined the Big Sister pirates. With such a betrayal, the Fishman Island may not be able to hold its head up in the Whitebeard pirates in the future. Fortunately, although Whitebeard was angry, he did not give up the Fishman Island. In other words, as long as the Fishman Island can change its mind, then there is no problem at all. As for not being able to hold up one's head in the other forces of the Whitebeard pirates in the future, then it's better not to be able to hold up one's head. Better than losing Whitebeard's protection. Today's Whitebeard pirates are the strongest in the New World, no matter in terms of sphere of influence or high-level powerhouses. Coupled with the victory of the Summit War and the Four Emperors' War, the reputation of the Whitebeard pirates has reached the pinnacle of the world. It is the safest place in the world to be under the protection of Whitebeard. This is also the reason why Jinbe came back in such a hurry. Father, are you really planning to send Captain Lin An and Instructor Jonfa to the Fishman Island? Jinbe looked at Whitebeard excitedly. When he first came back, he was so nervous that he didn't know whether Whitebeard would continue to protect the Fishman Island. Now Whitebeard's words not only dispelled his scruples, but even made him overjoyed. Lin An, a powerhouse at the Four Emperors level. Zephyr, the legend of the previous era, although his strength has declined due to the broken arm, his strength can at least beat the current Marine Admiral. If not, looking at Jinbe like this, Whitebeard frowned slightly. The whole person showed a bad expression. Or, do you, the Fishman Island, really plan to get out of my control? Don't dare. Jinbe immediately bowed and admitted his mistake. I just think you're making a big fuss, Dad. According to the current power of the Whitebeard pirates, it is only necessary to send an envoy there. How about sending an emissary? Whitebeard doesn't think so. Lin An didn't think so either. On the contrary, they felt that Jinbe was a little too naive. If Big Mom is really afraid or worried about the revenge of the Whitebeard Pirates. Even if it was indeed guessed at the beginning that Whitebeard would definitely die, and captured the Fishman Island to take advantage of it. But when Whitebeard returned safely, and even defeated Kaido's Beast's pirates, he would voluntarily withdraw. The reason why she doesn't evacuate now is to test the reality of the 1.8 Whitebeard pirates. If Whitebeard doesn't respond, or if Whitebeard just sent an emissary to visit symbolically, Big Mom won't return the Fishman Island. Nonsense. Whitebeard looked at Jinbe with a look of speechlessness on his face. He really couldn't understand why Tiger's heir was so naive. Certainly, Jinbe is not his subordinate, and Whitebeard has no obligation to preach and give advice to him. Do you dare to question what the old man said? Listening to Whitebeard's words, Jinbe lowered his head again. Don't dare. It's better to say. Chapter 152, Neptune's Preparations. Advertise here. Chapter 152 Neptune's Preparations. Jinbe looked at Whitebeard. We, the Fishman Island, will definitely receive Captain Lin An and Major Zephyr. Instructor with the highest standard. Oh, I see. Whitebeard nodded, then waved for the others to leave. Margao, Ace, Josie and other captains chatted with Lin An for a few words and then returned to their posts. As for Lin An and Zephyr, because of the mission, he didn't go directly back to the reserve island. Under the streamlining of Lin An, the 17th squad has only 100 people left. The other prisoners were sent to other teams or other forces by him. There are also advantages to having a small number of people. That is mobility. Lin An and Zephyr followed the Jinbe boat with the 17th team and headed for the Fishman Island. Taking advantage of the fact that the voyage will take some time, Jinbe called the Fishman Island in advance. Neptune, I have brought back Whitebeard's emissary. No, it's not an ordinary messenger, but the captain of the 17th and 24th Division, known as the Pirate Instructor. By the world, everyone is called the Fifth Emperor, Lin An, who is worth 4 billion. There is also the former Marine Admiral, known as Don't Kill Admiral, who is now the reserve instructor of the Whitebeard Pirates, Zephyr. What? On the Fishman Island? Neptune jumped straight up from the chair. Because the range of activities is too large. The waist twisted directly. It hurts. Covering my waist. Neptune looked at the phone bug again, with a look of seriousness on his face. Understood, I will immediately arrange the highest level of reception for Lin An and Zephyr. Is it 4 days away? I'll get ready right away. Neptune was almost terrified. That's Lin An and Zephyr. A single man could destroy their entire the Fishman Island. This is more deterrent than the few cadres sent by Ant before. As Neptune began to mobilize the guards of the entire Dragon Palace city. The inside of Dragon Palace gradually learned about Lin An and Zephyr's arrival. Have you heard? Zephyr is coming. Zephyr, is that the former Marine Admiral? I didn't expect him to join the Whitebeard Pirates. The news of Zephyr joining the Whitebeard Pirates has not been out for too long, and some more rational people still maintain a skeptical perspective. Lin An, 5 Emperors Lin An. It seems that Whitebeard still hasn't given up on our Dragon Palace city. Whitebeard escaped alive during the Summit War from Marine siege, a deliberate ambush, and a victory over the 4 Emperors Kaido. At this point, it has become an object of worship for all unofficial surprises. Even, many officials or forces related to the world government have a lot of audiences. Dragon Palace City, as the former, or in other words, the power that Whitebeard has been sheltering for a long time, naturally has a higher admiration for Whitebeard. It's over. However, someone reacted quickly. We, the Fishman Island, can be regarded as betraying Whitebeard. The arrival of Lin An and Zephyr will not be a liquidation for our Dragon Palace city, right? With this guesswork arose. In addition, King Neptune of the Fishman Island integrated the entire country's resources to receive Lin An and Zephyr. It quickly became mainstream. For a time, the whole Fishman Island was worried. Their guess is not without purpose. It's not that Whitebeard hasn't been to the Fishman Island before. However, even if Whitebeard was present in person, the Fishman Island has never had a precedent of integrating the sphere of influence of the entire country to receive a single person. It could be seen that Neptune was indeed scared. Everyone has it. Inside the Fishman Island, inside the King's Palace. Neptune is integrating the soldiers. In front of them are the most elite soldiers of the entire Fishman Island. A total of 1,000 people. At this time, Neptune is letting them train how to welcome distinguished guests. As a country, they naturally have their own ceremonial soldiers. It's just that there aren't too many guards of honor. Originally, even if someone from the world government came or Whitebeard came in person, it was only necessary to pull out the guards of honor to welcome them. It's just that the Fishman Island has been too sorry for Whitebeard recently. Only then did they recruit 700 the Fishman Island elites on the basis of the original 300 ceremonial soldiers, expanding the number of ceremonial soldiers to 1,000. In order to find soldiers who were about the same height and full of energy, Hopton searched the entire Fishman Island. There are a total of 100,000 permanent troops with a population of 5 million. All were pulled by him. Only 700 people were selected. After all, if Whitebeard isn't happy, the 17th team led by Lin An and Zephyr alone is enough to wipe out the Fishman Island. Dad, are you a little too nervous? The Dragon Palace Kingdom of the Fishman Island has 3 princes and 1 princess. The one who spoke was the eldest prince, Shark Star. No, I don't think it's enough. Listening to Shark Star's words, Neptune directly connected. You know, they betrayed Whitebeard. In this situation, the standard is even the highest in the entire Dragon Palace Kingdom, but it still can't make him feel at ease. The Whitebeard Pirates are now firmly established as the #1 pirate group in the world, and they are also the veritable kings of the New World. We exist as traitors, again. If you don't lower your profile, Lin An alone is enough to erase the Fishman Island. This sentence is definitely not aimless. The rest of the world may not know that Lin An owns the shock fruit because of the deceit 437 and concealment by the world government. But Neptune heard the fact that Lin An owns the shock fruit from Jinbe. In addition, Lin An can beat Kaido's record. Lin An's current strength is based on his own inference, even without Whitebeard's strength when he was young, it is almost the same. Cracking an island is definitely not difficult. But Shark Star looked aggrieved. What he wants to say is that they can't help the Fishman Island. Whitebeard has a way to destroy the Fishman Island, because Mom also has this ability. They the Fishman Island are just weak forces who are at the mercy of others. In addition, they themselves are also out of helplessness. Can't the Whitebeard side be more generous? But there are thousands of grievances. He is the king of the next generation of the Fishman Island. Shark Star still understands the truth. If you want to blame, you can only blame them for kneeling too fast. Why? Sighed. Shark Star looked helpless. All right. Don't be wronged. Neptune was not so entangled. Turning his head to look at his 3 sons, Shark Xing, Huang Xing, Crashing Xing, you 3, get ready. Chapter 153 Calculation of Mermaid Island. Advertise here. Chapter 153 Calculation of Mermaid Island. Neptune pondered for a moment, then turned his attention to his 3 sons. Shark Star, you are responsible for purchasing, and you can salute all the colorful flowers on the entire the Fishman Island as much as possible. All. Shake looked at Neptune in disbelief. The Fishman Island serves as one of the passages from the Grand Line to the New World. Although it is in the sea, its guest meteor can definitely be said to be the largest island in the entire world. There are not many things sold in the store. If you want to buy all the colorful flowers and salutes, even the wealth of the Dragon Palace Kingdom will be painful for a while. Certainly. Neptune nodded seriously. They have to face the angry Whitebeard Pirates. Moreover, Lin An is the strongest new star in the pirate world, known as the 5th Emperor of the Sea. That way he didn't feel safe. Just do what I say. Okay. Shark Star nodded. Now he could only do so, and he had to agree to the order of his father Neptune. Now they don't even know if they'll be accepted by Whitebeard. He can only use his best abilities as much as possible, so that he can be accepted by Whitebeard again as much as possible. Although a little groveling. But after all, I did something wrong, and even if I was looked down upon by others, at least it was better than being under the protection of my aunt, and nearly 1/3 of the manpower and material resources of the entire the Fishman Island were invested in candy production. Neptune saw Shark Star nodding, and set his eyes on Huang Xing and Crashing Star. Huang Xing, Rolling Star, go and get ready for dancing and music. Both are connoisseurs who are good at and love music and dance. It is obviously the most correct thing to let the 2 of them prepare for this matter. Yes, Huang Xing and Xing Xing nodded directly in reply. Dance, song, the reception, colorful flowers and salutes are all ready. However, Neptune still feels not enough. That's good. I made up my mind. There was seriousness in Neptune's eyes. When Lin An and Zephyr arrive, let Shirahoshi come out and pour wine for them. What? The 3 brothers, Sha Xing, Huang Xing, and Crashing Xing looked at Neptune with strange faces. They weren't surprised because their younger sister was going to pour wine for others. After all, Huang Xing and Car Roller both took the initiative to sing and dance. Rather Shirahoshi is problematic. Say what's wrong with Shirahoshi. Although she is a little timid, she still has a royal upbringing, elegant, and complete etiquette. It's not because she is not good looking. If the most beautiful woman in the world is Boa Hancock, then the 10th most beautiful woman under the Sea of Wood. It's because Shirahoshi has a crazy suitor. That is Van der Dyken Ix. He is the sage of Godu fruit and has marked Shirahoshi. Every day an axe is thrown at Shirahoshi's location. If Van der Dyken attacked while hosting Lin An and Zephyr, then it would be bad. It will definitely directly freeze the relationship between the Whitebeard Pirates and the Fishman Island, which are already on the cliff. No problem. Neptune frowned slightly. Of course he also knew about this problem. If Van Dyken doesn't do that, it's not good. If he does, we can take this opportunity to kill him. Hearing Neptune's words, Shark Star's pupils shrank. Looking at his old father in disbelief. Father, what do you mean? You don't have to worry. I have my own considerations. Neptune spoke. He did intend to use this opportunity to help Shirahoshi get rid of Van Dyken's harassment. After all, you can't keep Shirahoshi in there all the time, can you? Since Whitebeard can still send someone over, it means that although he is angry, he does not intend to give up on us. As for offending Lin An, I'll just apologize. I am familiar with this matter. As he said that, Neptune gave himself a thumbs up, with a deliberate mischievous look. It's a pity that Shark Xing, Huang Xing and Crashing Star didn't take it seriously, they just looked at their father with distress. Captain Lin An, what do you think? The Fishman Island entrance. Lin An and Zephyr were greeted by Neptune, Shark Star, Yellow Star and Crash Star to the Fishman Island. As for the members of the 17th Squad, they were left outside the Fishman Island by Lin An. Not bad. Lin An nodded casually. He is very curious about this underwater world. After all, he never came here. As for the preparations for the Fishman Island, it is even more ambitious. Almost decorated the whole Fishman Island. The colorful flowers and the salute are even Lin An and Zephyr, and there are constant sounds at every step of the two. There is also a mermaid lady with eyebrows as a reception. On both sides of Lin An and Zephyr, from the outermost periphery of the Fishman Island to the royal palace of the Fishman Island, there is a row of soldiers standing neatly. This ostentation is not insufficient. Zephyr on the side didn't show a little bit. Compared with Lin An, Zephyr has seen countless times the world-class reception scene. The highest standard of a country, or even the standard of more than one country, is not enough to make any waves in his heart. Tilde operator as long as you are satisfied, as long as you are satisfied. Quote. Neptune followed Lin An. His face was full of flattery. Captain Lin An, you have been enjoying a lot of glory these days. Is it beautiful? Lin An thought for a while. This is of course deliberately keeping a distance from Neptune. This time Lin An came to the Fishman Island for two purposes. One is to solve the Big Mom pirates. The second is naturally to achieve the effect of killing chickens and monkeys on the Fishman Island. Hit Neptune and the people on the Fishman Island hard, and the effect should be the best and strongest. This is not only for the people on the Fishman Island, but also for other forces under the Whitebeard Pirates banner, Good Lees. This can also be regarded as Lin An's trip to stand up under the arrangement of Whitebeard. A chance for Lin An to reveal himself in the Whitebeard Alliance fleet. I don't think so. Listening to Lin An's words, Sha Xing, Huang Xing, and Carriage Xing on the side lowered their heads. There was an angry expression on his face. As for Neptune, he scratched his head in embarrassment. With such a tough nail, Neptune can also make a smiling face. Captain Lin An was joking. You are now the 5th emperor above the sea. Defeat the existence of the 4 emperors Kaido. The successor of the Whitebeard Pirates. Where is it not beautiful? Chapter 154 Changes at the Reception Banquet. Advertise here. Chapter 154 Changes at the Reception Banquet. Neptune's posture can be said to be extremely low. However, Lin An didn't take it seriously. The expression on his face was still cold, and he didn't even make any response. It immediately cooled the surroundings down. Even those mermaid ladies and soldiers who were supposed to welcome Lin An showed some hostility. Hi. At this time, Jinbe hurriedly stood up to smooth things over. Isn't there still a banquet? Let's go to the palace and have a banquet. Yeah, Neptune perked up immediately. This time we have prepared the highest level ingredients and singing and dancing in the entire the Fishman Island, and we invite Captain Lin An to join us. Yeah. To this, Lin An responded indifferently and nodded. Please, please. At this time, it is obviously not appropriate to continue here. Otherwise, once the people on the Fishman Island had some troubles, Neptune would not be able to solve them. Soon, Shark Star pulled the exclusive car of the Fishman Island. Father, Captain Lin An, just get in the car. There are 3 cars in total. In the front car, Neptune took Lin An and Long Fa into the car. The second car is the car of the 3 princes Shark Star, Yellow Star and Crash Star. The third car in 027 was reserved for Jinbe and some important high-level officials of Mermaid Island. Mermaid Island Palace. At this time, Huang Xing and Xing Xing had already started playing and dancing. Both of them have loved singing and dancing since childhood. So the acting was pretty good. Princess Shirahoshi arrives. Just at this time, there was a sound outside the palace. A huge mermaid came in from outside. Sexy and charming star eyes, slightly playful long pink hair. Especially her timid appearance is even more pitiful. This is the most beautiful woman in the sea, Princess Shirahoshi. Father. Shirahoshi came to the palace, because she was not too familiar with the palace because she had to avoid Van der Daken all the year round. After greeting Neptune, Shirahoshi set his sights on Lin An. The eyes are also full of curiosity. Although she can't go out at will, she still reads newspapers. I also know a lot about Lin An. This is the culprit behind Impel Down's mass escape. A game changer for the Summit War. The man who defeated Kaido in the Battle of the 4 Emperors. She also once dreamed that if she could one day have Lin An's level of strength, she would not have to endure the harassment of Van der Daken. Hello Captain Lin An. Good Zephyr instructor. Looking at Shirahoshi, Lin An was also amazed. This kind of person who looks like a porcelain doll makes people feel happy just by looking at it. Of course, he didn't feel that worldly lust for Shirahoshi. After all, the two are of different races. And Shirahoshi is still height, or body length is more accurate. She has a body length of nearly 12 meters, and Lin An's height is only 1.8 meters. The gap between the two is really too big. Hello, Your Royal Highness. Lin An responded politely. Hello, Princess of the People. Zephyr also responded. There is no more text. To this. Neptune hurriedly greeted Shirahoshi. Shirahoshi, hurry up and pour wine for the two honored guests. Okay. Shirahoshi nodded. Picking up the wine barrel at the side, he stood behind Lin An and Zephyr. After pouring wine for Lin An and Zephyr, they went back to the back, with a look of not disturbing. Thanks. A polite thank you. Lin An's gaze fell on Zephyr. Neptune was so abnormal that he even pulled his son to sing and dance for himself and Zephyr. The woman served tea and wine to Lalai. The appearance of licking a dog is a bit too much. After all, this is the king who controls the entire Fishman Island. If he gets tough actually, there is nothing the beard can do to take him. After all, this is 10,000 meters under the sea, and apart from the Murlocs and mermaids, no other race can survive here for a long time. It can't really be destroyed, can it? If the people of their new world want to go to the Great Sphe route, and other four seas, they still need such a transit station. Looking at Lin An's puzzled eyes, Zephyr shook his head too. He has been here before, and he also knows Neptune's character. As the former first warrior of the Fishman Island, Neptune's strength is quite strong, and his character is also resolute. It is completely two people with the current appearance that looks like a dog licking. Captain Lin An, Big Zephyr. Instructor, what do you two think of the food on the Fishman Island? Lift a glass and have a drink. Neptune looked at Lin An and Zephyr with a slight smile. Not bad. Lin An nodded while eating the food. Pirates have been at sea all year round, so they already know the taste of aquatic products. Although Lin An has only been on Whitebeard's ship for more than a year and less than 2 years, but because of his rapid rise in status, the aquatic products in the sea can be regarded as basically edible. So don't underestimate this good review. As a former Chinese person, I am still tired of eating seafood. It is quite good to have this evaluation. Only, Neptune obviously had a wrong idea. He still felt that Lin An was not satisfied. Stand up slowly. Neptune came to Lin An and Zephyr with the wine glass in his hand. Captain Lin An, Judge. The Fishman Island thing, it's true that we didn't do it right. This glass of wine, even if I apologize for my mistake. As long as the Whitebeard Pirates are willing to forgive us and continue to protect us, even if you take my life, it's fine. Neptune had a direct showdown. This is also the biggest bargaining chip he can take out now. Father. Dad. Hearing Neptune's words, Lin An hadn't had time to make a statement. For a moment, Neptune's 3 sons and 1 daughter showed anxious eyes. Shut up. Before they could speak, Neptune revealed his hockey side. This is a matter between us adults, you children don't interrupt. Neptune said it lightly, but the ages of Murlocs and humans are different. Leaving aside Lin An, a young man in his early 20s, even Zephyr, who is in his 70s, may be about the same age as Neptune's 3 sons. Lin An was about to speak. The color of knowledge, which had been spreading intentionally or unintentionally, suddenly sensed something. There was a look of doubt in his eyes. Directly inject armament hockey into the chopsticks in his hand. Shish. With the slight movement of Lin An's hand. The chopsticks have been thrown out by Lin An. Clang. There was a metallic whine. Immediately afterwards. The chopsticks had penetrated an axe, and the axe stopped by Lin An fell in front of the palace. Chapter 155 He gave too much. Advertise here. Chapter 155 He gave too much. As the axe fell to the ground, the hustle and bustle of the banquet came to an abrupt end. There was dissatisfaction in Lin An's eyes. His gaze was directly on Neptune. What do you mean? When Lin An came over, I listened to the apology from the Fishman Island. However, he was attacked not long after he arrived at the Fishman Island. Such a result can even be regarded as the Fishman Island's contempt for Whitebeard. Do you, the Fishman Island, really want to be destroyed? Speak out in line with Lin An's words. Zephyr stood aside. Surrounded by armament hockey, the delicious food was blown away, and the surrounding tables, chairs, benches, and palace decorations were directly shattered. The huge aura emanating from Jifa directly overturned everything around him. Don't be angry, don't be angry. Neptune was so frightened that his body trembled. They had hoped to be forgiven by Whitebeard and be protected by Whitebeard again. If you offend Lin An, then in this life, no, their island doesn't need to continue to exist. Supply points are important though. But if there is no supply point, at most, it is enough to store more dry food that is not very tasty like compressed biscuits, and it will be able to cope. If the Fishman Island doesn't exist, there will be trouble and it will be a big trouble. But it's not entirely unacceptable. Neptune wouldn't bet the future of the Fishman Island that the Whitebeard Pirates wouldn't take a shot at them. There is a reason for this, Captain Lin An, let me explain in detail. Neptune's eyes were on Zephyr. Under Zephyr's murderous eyes, he couldn't help being frightened and shivered all over. This is the former Marine Admiral. A super existence whose strength once reached the level of 4 emperors. Although it is said that now because of a broken arm, his strength has been lost. But his aura, which is close to the mysterious world, is enough to deter 99% of the people in this world. Among them, he, the king of the Fishman Island, was also included. He quickly retracted his gaze. Neptune set his sights on Lin An. Although it is said that Lin An is stronger now. But after all, Lin An has not shown any hostility. Even if you want to get angry, you have to listen to my explanation first, don't you? Neptune panicked. Van der Decken's throwing is a fixed time every day. It stands to reason that even if he wants to throw it, it will be a few hours later. At that time, when he lowered his posture like this, everything must have been negotiated. As long as the relationship between the Fishmen Island and the Whitebeard Pirates resumes. If Van der Decken makes trouble again, he can also ask Lin An for help. But, Van der Decken's sudden change of time completely disrupted Neptune's rhythm and thoughts. What's up? You haven't changed for decades, why did you change today? Neptune panicked. At this point the Fishmen Island and the Whitebeard Pirates have not yet resumed their relationship. Things like this happening now are completely hostile to the Whitebeard Pirates. Good. Lin An looked at Neptune and spoke indifferently. I'll just give you a chance to explain. If it doesn't satisfy me, then the future of the Fishmen Island. Lin An didn't finish speaking. Neptune and others could imagine what Lin An wanted to do. Don't look at the Fishmen Island has a population of 5 million and a standing army of nearly 100,000. On Lin An's side, there are only Lin An, Zephyr, and 100 people from the 17th squad. If Lin An is really angry, the Murlocs and mermaids may not perish, but it is not certain whether the Fishmen Island can survive. It's Vanderken. Neptune went straight to the point. Van der Decken is the fruit-capable user of Paramesha Gotu fruit. He wanted to marry my daughter Shirahoshi and Mark Shirahoshi. For this reason, he would throw weapons into my palace at a certain time every day. It's just that he used to throw weapons every afternoon. Because it's a fixed time, and also to give Captain Lin An and Zephyr Instructor the highest standard of reception, I asked my daughter's star to pour wine for Captain Lin An and Zephyr Instructor. Quote. Neptune was tense all over. Looking at Lin An, cold sweat was already falling on his forehead. I really didn't expect that Duncan would throw weapons at this point in time. Listen to Neptune. Lin An set his sights on Zephyr who was on the side. What he wants to know more is the ability of the target fruit. It is absolutely impossible for him to know more about this than Zephyr. Zephyr also understood Lin An's thoughts at a glance. Pretending to be nonchalant, he nodded. Target fruit's ability is very pervert. As long as you mark it well, you can drop it no matter where you go, south blue or north. But, seeking flowers 0. He was also quite surprised. This Van der Decken has persisted for 10 years. No wonder that pervert is the most frightening. This fear is not only because of pervert's various means without limits, but also because of this kind of persistence that is almost incomprehensible. I see. Lin An nodded after getting Zephyr's affirmative answer. Since it really has this kind of fruit ability. In addition, what Neptune said was not a lie. Lin An didn't intend to pursue the matter any further. However, there are still some stances that should be made. Stand up slowly. Whoosh. Just at this time, there was another sound of breaking through the air. An axe appeared again in the sky. At this time, Zephyr made a move. The whole person jumped high. Point 0. Taking advantage of the situation, he took the axe several meters in size. Throw it away. He threw it back straight away. This situation made Lin An even more dissatisfied, and Vanderdij's repeated interruptions made him a little angry. However, this Van der Decken did not intend to help solve it. It seems that the palace city is not safe. Let's leave first, and wait until the palace city is completely safe. Talking. Lin An is about to leave with Zephyr. Don't, Captain Security. Neptune watched Lin An's movements, and immediately posted up. Just one Van der Decken spoiling your spirits. Yes. Lin An nodded, focusing on Neptune. What? Do you have a way to deal with him? I don't. Neptune shook his head directly. But you have. Your strength is unknown to everyone in the whole world. Listening to Neptune's flattery, Lin An frowned and looked at Neptune. Want to use me as a tool person? Captain Lin An, don't rush to get angry. I'll pay you for it. 10 tons of gold, 50 fist-sized night pearls, 50 kilograms of crystals and diamonds of various colors. Neptune looked at Lin An flatteringly. What do you think of the price? Chapter 156, Blackbeard's Appeal. Advertise here. Chapter 156, Blackbeard's Appeal. Gold is counted in tons, and diamond crystals are counted in kilograms. Listening to Neptune's quotation, Lin An's whole body went numb. Should it be said that it is indeed a kingdom in the sea? This financial power is too terrifying. Cough cough. Lin An put his hand to his mouth. The whole person pretended not to care. Van der Decken dared to attack me, so I naturally wanted to teach him a lesson. Under the sea, never tired. A familiar figure appeared here. Holding a telescope in his hand, he looked in the direction of Wang Gongcheng. It's amazing. A bold expression. Look carefree. If not Blackbeard, who else? At this moment, Blackbeard held a piece of Sakura peach pie in one hand, and looked in the direction of Wangong City with a telescope in the other hand. He was overwhelmed by the power of the target fruit. As long as you touch 493, you can throw it from all over the world to the place where you are touched. He can even pick up things that he couldn't lift before. This ability is already extremely heaven-defying. Van der Daken, what do you think of what I told you earlier? If you join our Blackbeard Pirates. Not good. Just when Blackbeard was going to discuss with Van der Daken about letting him join the Blackbeard Pirates. The huge axe in the binoculars that was supposed to fall in the palace city was picked up by someone and thrown towards them. Get out of the way. Blackbeard pushed Van der Daken away, who didn't understand what was going on, and ran quickly in the opposite direction. Van der Daken looked at Blackbeard angrily. However, he hadn't waited for him to finish speaking. Crack. The huge axe flew between Blackbeard and Van der Daken. The huge axe directly penetrated the ship's plank and sank directly into the deeper part of the sea. How can it be? Could it be that the other party also has the target fruit? Look at where the axe flew. Van der Daken looked puzzled. However, he soon became sure that this was definitely not the target fruit. After all, the target fruit has a tracking effect. If this is the case, it is even more incredible. A person can throw out this huge axe weighing hundreds of caddies, and even find where he is. This person's judgment and reverse thinking are really too heaven-defying, right? Blackbeard looked at Van der Daken's surprised face, and a smile appeared on his face. Did you see that too? Certainly. Van der Daken nodded. As the ability user of the target fruit, he has dealt with this ability all his life. How could you not know? Actually, you don't have to be too surprised. Blackbeard said it doesn't matter. You have to know that the opponents you just faced were 5 Emperors, Pirate Instructor, Lin An, Don't Kill Admiral, Zephyr. The title of 5 Emperors has been confirmed by Lin An. He does have this strength. Even Van der Daken, a Murloc located 10,000 meters below the sea, knew about it. As for Zephyr, it is the existence that makes their older generation of pirates fearful. How could they not know about it? It turned out to be Zephyr. Van der Daken's pupils shrank slightly, and his whole body showed a clear expression. No wonder there is such a strength. After learning that it was Zephyr who threw the axe back, Van der Daken no longer had any doubts. Ha ha ha. To this, Blackbeard laughed out loud. It doesn't matter, though. I have also seen your strength, it is indeed powerful. I can already qualify you. Join us. I, Blackbeard teach, the man who will become the One Piece in the future. If I say it, I will definitely not suffer. Talking. Blackbeard pointed his finger behind him. That's him, a member of the Blackbeard Pirates. World Fighting Champion, Giza's Badgers. Impel Down Warden, Shiryu of the Rain. Otokoshi, Van Oka. Evil King, Abaro Pizarro. Devil Sheriff, Lafitte. September Hunter, Katrine Diame. Quote. Huge Battleship, San Juan Dire Wolf. Quote. Big Wine Basque Chote. Quote. Shinigami, Poison Q. The route Blackbeard is taking is the elite route. But everyone he mentioned was surprising, even frightening. Van der Daken looked at Blackbeard. Especially those behind him. There was also a surprised expression on his face. But he didn't care too much. Blackbeard's group is indeed strong, but it's just fishy. And they are all very famous, even Blackbeard, who defected from Whitebeard, is in. But this place is under the sea. No matter how strong a person is, he will act according to the Murlocs and mermaids. Boss, they seem to be coming. At this time, Badgers hurried over to Blackbeard's side. Them. Blackbeard looked puzzled. He just saw Zephyr. Sudden, he thought of one more thing. You mean, Vice Captain Lin An is here too? Blackbeard's fear of Lin An is etched in his heart. Because Lin An has a good relationship with Ace, as the old man of the Whitebeard Pirates, he also has a good relationship with the upper management of Whitebeard because of his seniority. As the former vice captain of the 4th team, Lin An is even a close friend of his. But, even if he hides most of his strength, he still feels that Lin An is unfathomable. It wasn't until Lin An emerged from the capture of Drought Jack. This made him more convinced of his previous judgment. The executor of the Impel Down escape event. Rewrite the Summit War. He even defeated Kaido, one of the 4 emperors. It can be said that each of these piles was completely imprinted in his heart. Even though, Blackbeard doesn't think he will be weaker than Lin An now that he has awakened Dark Fruit. But, this is the bottom of the sea after all. He did not forget the information that Sengoku inadvertently revealed during the Summit War. Lin An is not affected by seastone. 2.3 inferred from this. Lin An is also unaffected by seawater. And he still had an impact. Think here. Blackbeard looked at Van der Daken again. We're going to leave. I'll ask you one last time, do you want to get on my boat? Don't want. Van der Daken shook his head directly. His ambition is not small. Looks like she's just chasing Princess Shirahoshi like a moron. In fact, I know that Shirahoshi is the Poseidon of the 3 ancient weapons. He can even use Shirahoshi to conquer the world if his request is granted. Looking at Blackbeard, Van der Daken shook his head and waved his hands one after another. You are a pirate at sea. Chapter 157 Negotiations break down. Blackbeard leaves. Advertise here. Chapter 157 Negotiations break down. Blackbeard leaves. And I'm a Murloc under the sea. The two of us couldn't pee in the same jug. Blackbeard looked at Van der Daken. Naturally, he didn't know what was going on in Van der Daken's head. They also didn't know that one of the 3 ancient weapons was hidden on the seemingly inconspicuous the Fishman Island, and had even awakened. But Blackbeard still has some desire for Van der Daken, who has the fruit of the target. Look at Van der Daken. There was seriousness in Blackbeard's eyes, because the matter has reached the most urgent time, so I will keep the long story short with you. The opponents you will face next are Lin An and Zephyr. If you choose to give up now, there is still hope of being alive if you leave with us. No, no, no. Van der Daken refused again. This is 10,000 meters below the sea. If you are human, how can you be the opponent of our Murlocs? Just pop the bubbles. It is our victory. Okay. 1. As the saying goes, good words are hard to persuade, damn ghost. Blackbeard stopped talking too much. In that case, good luck to you. 24. Talking. Blackbeard called to his men to start sailing away. Travel to farther places. Badgers moved closer to Blackbeard. Captain, are we leaving like this? Blackbeard glanced at Badgers. Otherwise, are you willing to face Lin An and add a Zephyr? That's really not willing. Badgers shook his head directly. But the fruit is my wife. It will take some time for Lin An and Zephyr to arrive. If we all rush forward, Van der Daken will definitely not be our opponent. Can't we go after grabbing the target fruit? Of course not. Blackbeard looked at Badgers like a fool. That's the strongest creature Murloc in the sea. And we are still in the sea, how can we kill Van der Daken in seconds? Once we get into a stalemate, when Lin An and Zephyr arrive, do you think they might let us go because of your captain's relationship with the Whitebeard Pirates? Blackbeard's words directly made Badgers speechless. Ha ha ha, stupid kid. Badgers, I didn't expect you to have such a time. For a while, the rest of the Blackbeard Pirates more or less started to mock Badgers. You are Van der Daken. Lin An came to Van der Daken's boat shortly after Blackbeard left. Although he didn't want to be led by the nose by Neptune. But he gave too much, and the respect Neptune gave was also great enough. In addition, there is still a reason for Van der Daken to offend him. It is impossible for him not to take what Neptune gave. Cough cough. You can't say that you won't come back with revenge, can you? If not, where should he put his face as the 5th emperor on the sea? I am. Van der Daken looked at Lin An with disapproval. For one thing, he didn't think Lin An could beat him in the sea. Secondly, he is not guilty. Naturally, he would not think that Lin An was here to deal with him. Is there anything you can do with me? If it's about pulling me into the Whitebeard Pirates, forget it. I have feelings for the bottom of the sea and I won't go up to the surface. Good guy. Who gave you a maximum of about mid-supernova for me to come and personally invite you aboard? Looking at Van der Daken in front of him, Lin An's face was full of disbelief. No, I'm here to kill you. After calming down a bit, Lin An looked at Van der Daken in front of him with great interest. He directly expressed his thoughts. Kill me. Van der Daken laughed. Aren't you joking? Even if you are the emperor of the sea, but now you are under the sea. And I am a human race. So what? There was a murderous look in Lin An's eyes. The whole person burst out with a strong momentum. A laser has been fired from his hand. It directly penetrated Van der Daken's body. A painful voice sounded from Van der Daken's mouth. He looked at Lin An in disbelief. Because of the vague words on the world government wanted notice. Lin An's fame came back to life. But not many people really know Lin An's full ability. This is especially true for the rest of the people except for the high-level people of all forces in the world. Annoyed and stunned, he looked at Lin An with disbelief. Sparkling fruit. How could you possibly have sparkling fruit? While talking. Van der Daken moved his hand aside. That's where he kept his axe. Want to resist? To this, there was a mockery on Lin An's face. Point out. A laser shot directly through Van der Daken's hand again. Painful wailing sounded from Van der Daken's mouth. Do it, kill him. Van der Daken also knew the gap between the two sides at this time. For a while, he regretted not listening to Blackbeard. At this time, it is understood why Blackbeard's eyes are like looking at a dead person. Mionjinme, that is, the figure of a huge red fin puffer fishman appeared. If he doesn't move, Lin An and Zephyr thought he was a mountain. His task is to pull Van der Daken's boat under the sea. At this time, I heard Van der Daken's words. He stared blankly in the direction of Lin An and Zephyr. Are you going to hit him? Yes. Van der Daken nodded again and again. Hurry up, while letting Mionjin see the shot. 630. Van der Daken had already picked up a huge axe by his side. Use all your strength. Straight to Lin An. Tisk. Lin An watched Van der Daken and Mionjin see the two attacking in the sky and the ground, feeling bored for a while. Open black lens bracket. You picked up a devil fruit growth experience. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You picked up an observation hockey experience. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You picked up a power. Close black lens bracket. Absorb the attributes dropped by the two. The content of this attribute surprised Lin An. A being as arrogant as Van der Daken actually has observation hockey. Think again. That's right. After all, It takes a long time to use the target fruit. Awakening observation Haki is also a normal thing. Moreover, how can he say that he is also a supernova, and his strength is considered very good? Awakening a portion of Haki is also something that should be done. While thinking, Lin An stretched out his hand. A golden brilliance condensed on his hand. Winky. Condensed with golden brilliance, Lin An seemed to be shining like a little sun in the sea at this time. Coagulation is complete. Lin An waved his hand. 8-foot Chong Guyu. Chapter 158 This has troubled you for decades. Advertise here. Chapter 158 This has troubled you for decades. Following Lin An's voice fell. Countless tiny laser beams flew out of his hands. Laser beams directly penetrated the bodies of Van der Daken and Myeongjin. Van der Daken and Myeongjin saw their blood being brought out by the laser. His eyes gradually turned white. Van der Daken and Myeongjin saw that the two of them didn't even utter the slightest wail of pain, and they had already collapsed on the ground, completely losing their vitality. Looking at Van der Daken who fell to the ground, there was a look of speechlessness on Lin An's face. It's just such a person who has troubled the Fishman Island for 10 years. Of course, Lin An knows that his own ease does not mean that others can also be easy. But the crux of the problem is that Van der Daken and this Myeongjin are at most a supernova. And the Fishman Island is a big country with a population of 5,100,000 permanent troops. Neptune was once the number one warrior under the sea, and his 3 sons are not weak. It's not that difficult if you want to encircle and suppress it, right? At this time, Lin An thought of Neptune's compromise with the Big Mom pirates. Tisk tisk. There was a look of speechlessness in Lin An's eyes. It is a good king who treats the people well and does not want the people to be harmed. However, when others are bullied to the top, they can only retreat and make concessions as much as possible. This is completely cowardly, and it's a condescending coward. The Fishman Island, the base of the new Murloc pirates. Das quickly ran up to Hody Jones. It's not good, Captain. Hody Jones frowned and looked at Das. A pill was swallowed by him. Slightly dissatisfied with the opening. What's the fuss about? You have to know that the Fishman Island is in chaos right now. The Whitebeard Pirates and the Big Mom Pirates are all eyeing us. It is we who are looking for an opportunity to overthrow Neptune. Good time. Hody Jones' idea is simple. Whether it's Big Mom or Whitebeard, no matter how powerful they are just pirates. Even the most conscientious 4 Emperors Whitebeard in New World would not care about the power changes of the forces under his command. Today's Neptune securities can be said to be in jeopardy. It is a good opportunity for their Murlocs to rise to the top. After all, no matter in terms of strength or several aspects of survival on land. Their Murlocs are stronger than the mermaids. It's not that I want to panic. But Van der Daken is dead. He was killed by Lin An. Van der Daken was killed by Lin An. Hearing what Das said, Hody Jones showed a confused expression. This guy can be regarded as his partner, and it would be a pity to die. However, there is nothing to lose for them. Although it's a bit regrettable. But if you die, and that guy is not very trustworthy, and he is also extremely arrogant and whimsical. Then Lin An is the hottest existence in the whole world in recent months. Also the 5th Emperor above the sea, isn't it normal that Van der Daken was killed by Lin An? No, Captain. Das shook his head quickly. My surprise is not that Lin An has the strength to kill Van der Daken. It's just that Lin An has the strength to kill Van der Daken in seconds. Listen to Das. Only then did Hody Jones get serious. Looking at Das with a serious face, what did you say? Van der Daken's strength is still very strong among the Murlocs. As for Huo Daichong is his opponent who does not take the magic medicine. But, is this kind of person unexpectedly killed by someone? 89. Das relayed what his spies had seen to Hody Jones. Captain, that's the way it is. What do we do next? Quote. Hody Jones had a look of horror on his face. How can it be so strong? You don't even need to get close, just kill him with a single blow. How did you come back so quickly? Palace City. Neptune looked at Lin An who came back with an expression of disbelief in his eyes. Lin An and Zephyr went back and forth for less than half an hour. It may not be possible for a person to come back for half an hour as soon as he arrives at Van der Daken's location. What? Don't believe me? Lin An's eyes fell on Neptune. Neptune immediately shook his head. No, how could I not trust you, Captain Lin An? I'm sorry you don't dare. Lin An responded, although he is too lazy to do such a thing. But since you want to collect money, it is natural to do a full set of things. The box in his hand was handed out directly. This should prove that I killed Van der Daken. Neptune took the box with a puzzled expression. Although curious, he dared not open it. After all, if he opened it, it would be saying that he couldn't trust Lin An. He handed it to Shark Star casually. Shark Star didn't take that much into account and opened it directly. Shark Star looked at the things inside the box, and voices of doubt and panic sounded. This cry directly attracted other people. How come? Everyone fell silent after seeing what was inside the box. Some people with weak mentality even ran to the corner and vomited. The things in it can indeed prove that Lin An killed Van der Daken. Because inside the box is the head of Van der Daken, and even because the box was opened, blood flowed out. So, Shirahoshi looked at the things in the box and looked at Lin An with a blank look. A trace of gratitude appeared in his eyes. He muttered to himself, am I going to be free in the future? Certainly. Lin An nodded. If you were only worried about Van der Daken's target fruit ability, then you don't need to worry at all now. He is dead. However, you still need to be more careful in doing things in the future. As the old saying goes, you must not have the heart to harm others, and you must not have the heart to guard against others. Lin An generally would not say such things for others. Leave a promise, however, after all, I have received the money. And it is a huge wealth that anyone in the whole world will gasp when they hear about it, which is also a free additional benefit. Finished. Lin An looked at Neptune. Neptune, as an old fried dough stick, how could he not know what Lin An wants? A smile appeared on his face. Captain Lin An, rest assured Min. I promised you a lot of things before, so I arranged for my men to move those things to the ship for you as early as when you left. Nonsense. Lin An showed anger on his face. I made the move because Van der Daken was too angry to take me seriously, and it has nothing to do with you. Your Majesty, the people from the Jinbe Pirates are here. Chapter 159. Big Mom Pirates arrive. Advertise here. Chapter 159. Lin An's voice just fell. Before Neptune could respond, he heard the news. Immediately, Neptune's face became embarrassed. Captain Lin An, do you see? It can be seen that Upton wants to hand over the resolution of this matter to Lin An. Just received the gift. Lin An didn't have much to say. And the purpose of coming to the Fishmen Island this time is to expel the members of the Big Mom Pirates. Naturally, it is impossible to avoid it. Now that I just met the members of the Big Mom Pirates, I can explain it to them directly. You can't handle this matter, let me do it. As he spoke, Lin An looked at the orderly. Take me there. Quickly lead the way. Listening to Lin An's words, Upton also nodded. He really couldn't handle this matter. Now Captain Lin An's words are my words, understand? The orderly looked at Neptune and Lin An in front of him, and nodded quickly. The Fishmen Island's largest living room. This was originally a place to receive kings, heads of state, and heads of state from other countries. At this time, it was directly occupied by the members of the Big Mom Pirates. Push open the door. 130 Lin An, Zephyr, and Neptune walked slowly into the living room. Into the eyes. A tall beautiful woman appeared in front of her eyes. Neptune, you kid can do it. Hear the door open. The beauty opened her mouth and shifted her gaze to the direction of the gate. Since you have surrendered to our Big Mom Pirates, you dare to hook up with the Whitebeard Pirates. The Big Mom Pirate group obviously also attaches great importance to the Fishmen Island. The representative of the Fishmen Island sent by the aunts is the 3-star Smoothie. Smoothie looked in the direction of the door. He stayed where he was without saying a word. She thought that no matter how much the Whitebeard Pirates paid attention to the matter of the Fishmen Island, it would be enough to send a captain-level person at most. She is an existence of the Emperor's deputy level. Both in terms of status and strength, they definitely surpass most of the captains of the Whitebeard Pirates. But, the current scene has completely exceeded Smoothie's expectations. Where is this a captain? This is absolutely a pair of king bombs. Lin An, who has the strength to defeat Kaido, will also add a predecessor, Marine Admiral Zephyr. She couldn't win if any one of these two appeared, let alone two of them. It turned out CEAG was Smoothie. Looking at Smoothie, Lin An had a look of understanding on his face. People who are also members of the 4 Emperors pirate group naturally know each other. Especially Smoothie is still the Emperor's deputy, one of the stars of the Big Mom Pirates. The popularity is very high both in the New World and worldwide. It seems that Yin's mother is still quite right about this, the Fishmen Island. During the conversation, Lin An and Zephyr walked forward. There are more than 20 people in Big Mom's pirate village in the whole room. And they are all the best of the best. But, when facing Lin An and Zephyr, he didn't dare to make a sound. Smoothie suppressed the worry and fear in his heart and looked at Lin An. That's natural, the Fishmen Island is one of the paths of the New World and the Grand Line. Also, the Fishmen Island volunteered to join our Big Mom Pirates. Can that be considered voluntary? Lin An glanced at Smoothie disdainfully. He sat directly on the main seat without any hesitation, and Zephyr sat next to Lin An. This was a seat that even Smoothie, who arrived first, did not dare to sit. After all, arrogance also requires courtesy and respect for others. They are not robbers, they also need the Fishmen Island to bring resources and candies to Big Mom Pirates. Of course. Smoothie nodded bluntly. They are pirates after all. In their eyes, as long as they don't take the initiative to attack, it is considered voluntary by the other party. Having said that, but she also knows how excessive it is in the eyes of ordinary people. After all, this is also the time when I took advantage of the weakness of the Whitebeard Pirates. In fact, this is understandable. It's just that people didn't expect that the Whitebeard Pirates survived the Summit War. And also defeated Kaido's Beasts Pirates by the way. Directly because of these two wars, they established the title of the strongest pirate group in New World, and even the strongest pirate group in the entire world. Now we are talking about whether the two sides want to fight. The Big Mom pirates naturally didn't want to fight. But, I don't want to fight back, I don't want to fight. You still have to have the face you deserve. After sorting out his emotions a bit, Smoothie spoke again, and no matter what happened before. The Fishman Island is already the sphere of influence of our Big Mom pirates. He, Neptune, also admitted it. Are you Whitebeard pirates trying to rob us? Extortion. Lin An felt a little ridiculous listening to Smoothie's words. Can't help laughing out loud. Hee, what a strong sentence. Lin An wants to refute Smoothie himself. However, he has no negotiation experience after all, and he doesn't want to do such a waste of brains as negotiating with others. Eyes set on Zephyr. To this, Zephyr was also speechless. He knew it would be like this. Ever since I was fooled by Lin An. He almost became Lin An's tool man. As long as Lin An is not required to do things, Lin An will transfer them to himself. Look up. Zephyr fixed his eyes on Smoothie. So, are you Big Mom pirates swearing the sovereignty of the Fishman Island with our Whitebeard pirates? Zephyr actually joined the Whitebeard pirates. Smoothie heard from the information network of the Big Mom pirates and saw the information in the newspaper. She also knows that Zephyr joined the Whitebeard pirates. Only, in her opinion, Zephyr is only joining as a partner. This is also the result obtained after the vast majority of people in the world calmed down. Only, how does it feel different now? Looking at Zephyr, he glanced at Lin An, who was a little lazy at the side. How do you feel that Zephyr is more like Lin An's secretary? Certainly. Smoothie felt the pressure from Zephyr. Suppressing the trembling and emotion in my heart. The whole person showed a tough attitude. King Neptune is already nodding. How can this be false? After Smoothie finished speaking, he looked at Neptune. Obviously, she wanted to implicate Neptune, or the whole the Fishman Island. But, what is Zephyr? The former Marine Admiral, a legendary existence who fell in love with the legendary pirate Golden Lion. What he experienced was beyond anyone's imagination. I don't know how many world-class negotiations I have experienced, how could I be brought over by Smoothie's words? I saw Zephyr looking at Smoothie. So, you're looking down on the Whitebeard pirates. Chapter 160 Zephyr's Suppression. Advertise here. Chapter 160 Zephyr's Suppression. What the hell? How did I despise the Whitebeard pirates? Are you too overbearing? Smoothie nearly choked on Zephyr's words. The anger value in my heart exploded directly. But Smoothie really didn't dare to say anything more. The current Whitebeard pirates are too strong. Even Big Mom has to avoid it, in case she really offends the Whitebeard pirates, let alone her. That's right. The Big Mom pirates didn't really intend to compete with Whitebeard for the Fishman Island. It's just that Auntie doesn't want to evacuate directly regarding the matter of the Fishman Island. That would be too embarrassing. That's why Smoothie came to test him out. If Whitebeard is really not interested in the Fishman Island, then there must not be two powerful messengers, then Smoothie can be tougher. As long as he doesn't hit anyone, it will be within the controllable range. After all, if the four emperors go to war in an all-round way, Big Mom is not afraid of Whitebeard. Just make the battlefield as large as possible. The master advantage of the Whitebeard pirates will be weakened as much as possible. Kaido's failure was only due to his irrational idea of wanting to face hard steel with Whitebeard. If only Kaido could think more about things at the beginning and not choose to fight head-to-head with the Whitebeard pirates. It is definitely not an easy task for the Whitebeard pirates to win against the Beast's pirates. What Smoothie didn't expect was, the Whitebeard pirates actually sent Lin An, the successor of the Whitebeard pirates, for this reason. I don't care about this. This is absolutely what matters most. It seems, the Fishman Island cannot be contested. Smoothie quickly made the decision in his mind. But, there should still be disputes. Looking at Zephyr in front of him, Smoothie looked serious. Don't use the Whitebeard pirates to overwhelm me. Now the Fishman Island is loyal to our Big Mom pirates, don't care what the people of the Fishman Island think, the ownership of the Fishman Island should belong to our Big Mom pirates. Ah, hearing Smoothie's words, Zephyr sneered. He didn't care what Smoothie was talking about. He only heard one thing. That is, the Big Mom pirates don't want to evacuate on the Fishman Island. Looking at Smoothie in front of him, GFA said again, when did the Fishman Island become the site of your Big Mom pirates? Of course, Smoothie was about to speak. Then the sound stopped abruptly. When the Fishman Island became the site of the Big Mom pirates, and how it became the site of the Big Mom pirates, she naturally knows. Everyone in the Whitebeard pirates knows it too. Theoretically speaking, it is indeed their Big Mom pirates who are wrong about this matter. Calmed down a little, Smoothie gritted his teeth and looked at Zephyr. The Fishman Island is our territory now, you Whitebeard pirates don't want to take it by force. Extortion. Seeing Smoothie's appearance, Zephyr also chuckled inwardly. He thought it would be more difficult. After all, Smoothie is the star of the Four Emperors pirate group, and he is also a character who has experienced 35 years of ups and downs. I didn't expect the resolution of the matter to be so easy and smooth. Today's Smoothie has fully entered Zephyr's vocabulary. Then why don't you look at what your Big Mom pirates are doing? Zephyr stood up straight away. His hands hit the table in front of him directly. The force is overwhelming, but it is well controlled. Didn't really hurt the table. When our Whitebeard pirates participated in the Summit War, we sneaked in behind the scenes and forced the Fishman Island to join the Big Mom pirates. You mean to tell us that we plunder? A few words. The questions that Smoothie wanted to avoid were brought to the table by Zephyr. For a while, Smoothie couldn't think of any good solution. I could only bite the bullet and continue, so what? Anyway, the Fishman Island now belongs to our Big Mom pirates. Very good. A smile appeared on Zephyr's face listening to Smoothie's words. This is also something that the Big Mom pirates admitted to their robbery. Pause for a moment. Zephyr asked again. The Fishman Island, our Whitebeard pirate group, is impossible to give up. Now I only give you two choices. First, evacuate the Fishman Island, and give the Fishman Island to us again. Second, the Whitebeard pirates and your Big Mom pirates have declared war. We will use force to take back the Fishman Island. How to choose, you can turn it off yourself. Listen to Zephyr. Smoothie's mouth twitched. She really didn't expect that Zephyr would use such a strong method to negotiate. Asking for flowers. At this time, she also reacted. The first is to show your timidity. Let Lin An and Zephyr guess that the Big Mom pirates do not intend to fight the Whitebeard pirates, which is why they are so tough. Secondly, I was too reckless. Totally carried away by Zephyr's words, she shouldn't touch the topic of how the Big Mom pirates got the Fishman Island. But, although Smoothie figured it out, he also knew it was too late. Now the weak point has been routed out. Then you can only save face as much as possible. At least let this negotiation look like both sides are equal. Save face for the Big Mom pirates, 4 emperors. We admit that we have indeed done some bad things, but we are pirates after all, where are there so many rules? The Fishman Island is now the property of our Big Mom pirates, and I can return it to you. But it's impossible for our Big Mom pirates to give it to you as soon as you ask for it. Organized my thoughts a little bit. Smoothie spoke again. I want to love Jindo. One island for another island is fair and just. Ijindo sounds like a very elegant name. But it was just a deserted island, even when Rock's pirate had just disbanded and New World became unowned again. When Big Mom competed with Whitebeard for land, she gave Ijin Island to Daybeard without even thinking about it. Actually, the island is just a reef island. Not to mention living or having any resources. Even whether living things can survive on it is unknown. Smoothie's purpose in wanting to love Jindo is to save some face, nothing more. Do you still want land? Smoothie's words were enough to give in. But Zephyr still doesn't have any plans to regress. Look at Smoothie. An exasperated look appeared on Zephyr's face. At this time, his aura of traveling the world for decades suddenly floated out. Once this momentum appeared, it even made the entire meeting room tremble. So, do you want to start a war? Chapter 161 The Fishman Island Play. Advertise here. Chapter 161 The Fishman Island Play. Zephyr looked imposingly at Smoothie. You can try it if you want. But, halfway through the words, Zephyr smiled evilly. Don't forget what happened to the Beast's pirates. What happened to the Beast's pirates? It's nothing more than Kaido thinking that you Whitebeard pirates have just experienced the Summit War and shouldn't have much stamina, so they just lost. In fact, it can indeed prove this point. The final victory is nothing more than Lin An defeating Kaido and rewriting the battle situation. But, knowing is knowing. Smoothie really didn't dare to actually fight the Whitebeard pirates. I don't have to love Jindo. Smoothie gritted his teeth and looked at Zephyr. She didn't expect Zephyr to be so powerful. However, today's meeting is not allowed to pass on Tiandu. Can. Zephyr sat down. 023. There was a calm look on his face. Now that the matter has been achieved, the face that should be given still has to be given. Otherwise, it would really force the Big Mom pirates and the Whitebeard pirates to fight. The damaged ones are definitely the Whitebeard pirates. The Big Mom pirates at most want to save face. Then give it this face. Farewell. After getting the answer you want. Smoothie shook his hand and left. Big Mom pirates solved. And it's easy to fix. Neptune was also happy. 3 threats now surround the Fishman Island. Van der Daken, who spotted his daughter, was killed, and the Big Mom pirates who oppressed the Fishman Island were driven away. The Fishman Island became peaceful all of a sudden. Walking to Lin An, Neptune flattered. Captain Lin An, Zephyr Admiral, thank you for your hard work. Not hard. Lin An responded indifferently. The Fishman Island matter has been resolved. Well, it's time to leave. Since the matter with the Big Mom pirates is settled. Let's go first. Talking. Lin An is about to leave with Zephyr. Wait a minute. At this time, Jinbe walked in from the outside. He came after seeing Smoothie leave with a sullen look on his face. As soon as he entered the door, he heard Lin An's words. Just as Neptune thought, the Fishman Island has a total of 3 obsessions after the Summit War. The last problem is the new Murloc pirates. Now that Lin An has solved Van der Daken and driven away the Big Mom pirates. Jinbe wanted Lin An to solve the problems of the new Murloc pirates by the way. After all, The new Murloc pirates are inextricably linked to him, so he can't do anything heavy. And Hody Jones didn't know what method he used, and the new Murloc pirates are not something he can handle. Lin An is definitely the best person to handle this matter. Strength, ability, courage is 1 in a million. And also the asylum of the Fishmen Island, a member of the Whitebeard Pirates. Whether it is from reason or logic, Lin An should make a move. But, although it is said that the Fishmen Island and the Whitebeard Pirates have reunited. But if you want the Whitebeard Pirates to protect you, you still need some means. At least, cannot be requested directly, still need to play the emotional card. Jinbe. Looking at Jinbe, the seriousness on Lin An's face was much less. Jinbe has been by his side since Impel Down, and the two are already friends. The Fishmen Island is not doing things right. But Lin An also has a clear distinction between public and private. Jinbe will not be involved because of the Fishmen Island. Are you looking for me for something? Jinbe nodded without any hesitation. Captain Lin An, can you come with me? Of course. Lin An nodded. Follow behind Jinbe. Lin An and Jinbe directly left the palace of the Fishmen Island and came to a corner. Neptune and Zephyr followed suit. Only, Zephyr was allowed, and Neptune was driven away by Lin An. Neptune did not dare to disobey. Can only stay far away. Looking around, Lin An showed a puzzled expression. Where is this? This is the entrance to Murloc Street. Jinbe directly named this place. There are 2 races living on the Fishmen Island. One is a fish like Murloc with a human body. One is the mermaid tribe whose upper body is a human and the lower body is a fish. Although these 2 races are both races of the Fishmen Island, they are also divided into upper and lower. The Murlocs have always been servants of the mermaids. Fishman Street was thus born. It is different from the feasting of the Fishmen Island. Murloc Street is even more wild and irritable. Theft. The safety index of Murloc Street is not high. It is not an exaggeration to say that it is the most chaotic area in the entire world. There are hundreds of thousands of Murlocs living in it. Its exclusiveness even reached the point of madness. Jinbe, do you want to ask me for something? Looking at the Murloc Street in front of him, Lin An narrowed his eyes slightly. He quickly guessed what Jinbe was thinking. That's right. Jinbe didn't deny it either. He knew very well that Lin An was not so easily deceived. Rather than being discovered afterwards, the friendship between him and Lin An was broken. Better to tell the truth. Thus, regardless of whether Lin An will agree or not, at least the friendship between the two of them will not be affected. But before I say my request, let me tell you about myself. Lin An glanced at Jinbe, nodded but did not speak. He understood that Jinbe wanted to tell a story about his life. Jinbe. Fisher Tiger, you should know. Listening to Jinbe's words, Lin An nodded. I know, the hero who liberated hard work. Fisher Tiger, an existence that can be called a hero no matter whether it is human beings or Mermaid Island. His movement to liberate mankind, Lin An, is also quite admirable. Think about it differently. Lin An absolutely can't reach Tiger's level. The most is to use those slaves to cover his escape. After I come out from the hands of celestial dragons, I won't be doing similar things 3.2. But Tiger is different. He's been doing this all the time. And still die for it. Tiger got the news from Whitebeard. For this person, Lin An also admires him very much. It's an awe-inspiring presence. If only I could have lived in his time and happened to meet him. I will force people with the same blood type to give Tiger blood. Thanks. Jinbe looked at Lin An. There was a look of gratitude on his face. Jinbe knew that people like Lin An would be attracted by Tiger. But I didn't expect Lin An to recognize Tiger so much. I thank you on behalf of Big Brother Tiger. Chapter 162 Jinbe's Worries. Advertise here. Chapter 162 Jinbe's Worries. Brother Tiger. Listening to Jinbe's words, Lin An's face showed doubts. Sudden, he realized a problem. Tiger is a Murloc, and Jinbe is also a Murloc. Jinbe nodded. Brother Tiger and I are on the same boat. And I'm also the vice captain of the Sun Pirates. Speaking of which, a look of helplessness appeared on Jinbe's face. At the beginning, I also thought about using strong methods, but Big Brother Tiger didn't allow it. I can only watch helplessly as Big Brother Tiger's anger disappears bit by bit. Lin An looked at Jinbe and opened his mouth. He wanted to say that it was a matter of life and death, so why bother so much? But, this is someone else's business after all. After a short pause, he spoke again. This is also impossible. So, the purpose of your coming to me is to tell me about this matter. Well, it has something to do with the Sun Pirates. Jinbe calmed down his emotions. There was a headache in his eyes. Although this little guy is not a member of our Sun Pirates. 24 inches, but he is also inextricably related to the Sun Pirates. Lin An nodded cooperatively. He also slightly understood what Jinbe wanted to express. Tiger's heroics and man performance are unquestionable. This is also recognized by the vast majority of people in human society. Among the Murlocs, there are naturally a lot of fanatics. And among these fanatics, definitely spawn some people who are outraged by Tiger's death. He's an admirer of Arlong from our Sun Pirates. Speaking of which, Jinbe looked at Lin An slightly embarrassed. Arlong isn't famous. He was one of our original Sun Pirates. I was angry and left for East Blue because of Brother Tiger's accident. It seems that he was arrested a few days ago. Oh, Lin An responded indifferently. He is not very interested in Arlong, or even in the entanglement with the Sun Pirates, and now he will listen to Jinbe's talk here. It's all because Jinbe is his friend. Jinbe obviously also saw Lin An's thoughts. But, wanted to speak his mind. Arlong cannot be avoided. Fortunately, Lin An was not impatient because of this. The ones I'm going to ask you for help are the new Murloc pirates. Their leader is a great white shark man named Hody Jones. He's an admirer of Arlong. Also inherits anger from Arlong for being unfair to Big Brother Tiger. Lin An nodded, looking at Jinbe's eyes with curiosity. You are in charge of the only designated official pirate group of the Fishmen Island, the Sun Pirates, and it is no exaggeration to say that they are the most elite troops under the sea. You are also a Shichibukai yourself, close to sub-level experience. It's just these little gangsters from Murloc Street, they should be able to deal with them, right? Why? Jinbe sighed at this. It could have been dealt with originally. It's just because as a compatriot, I can't bear to be a citizen. Where did you get the banned drugs recently? The strength of the entire Murloc Street has skyrocketed. Even if I make up my mind to do it, I can't do it. Prohibited drugs. Listening to Jinbe's words, Lin An frowned slightly. There was a puzzled look on his face. I know that drugs enhance themselves, but the enhancement is very small and comes with powerful side effects. How could this Hody Jones beat you by relying on banned drugs? This banned drug is not an ordinary banned drug. There was a look of seriousness in Jinbe's eyes. This is the forbidden drug, named Drug S, in the Fishmen Island Palace. It has the powerful effect of enhancing the strength of hundreds of people by eating one. What? Lin An's pupils shrunk when he heard Jinbe's words. He was completely shocked. Eating one can increase the strength of 100 people. This is even more pervert than his cheat. Although it is only to increase strength. But I can't stand the infinite enhancement. That's why he broke all laws with all his strength. When the strength reaches a certain level, an island will be directly destroyed as soon as it goes out. No matter how fast it is useless. Although the evil drug S is powerful, it also has side effects like other banned drugs, and the side effects are very serious. Every time you eat a poisonous medicine, you will be deprived of part of your lifespan and vitality, and the more you eat, the greater the side effects. I see. Lin An nodded. This is a lot of balance in my heart. If only there were such powerful medicines in this world without side effects. His time travel was in vain. Cheat is also free. Looking at Jinbe, Lin An said seriously, so, do you want me to kill him for you? Right. Jinbe nodded. However, before that, I also want to ask for proof of one thing. Talking. Jinbe's eyes were on Lin An. That's you and me coming to fight. Are you sure you want to fight me? Lin An looked at Jinbe. Well, sure. Jinbe nodded seriously. I'm just a Shichibukai, but that's also on land. Now in the middle of the sea, and in a familiar place like 10,000 meters below the sea, my strength is not much worse than Admiral's. Hody Jones is as good as I am. I want to know whether Captain Lin An will be affected by the ocean. I see. Lin An listened to Jinbe's words and nodded. This is not to say that Jinbe really has the strength of Admiral in Haezong. Instead, he was talking about the outcome of the battle when Jinbe returned to a field he was familiar with, and Admiral was in a situation he was not familiar with, and even his breathing was affected. Since you want to fight with me, then I don't mind learning about it. Lin An looked at Jinbe, who had already left his posture. Jinbe's attributes in the sea are definitely not weak. Especially the strength of the basic attribute may not be weaker than Admiral with the 10 times bonus of the Murloc racial talent. Now Lin An has no good place to go if he wants to become stronger quickly. This Jinbe is undoubtedly giving him attributes. Thank you, Captain Lin An. Hearing Lin An's words, Jinbe's eyes lit up. He didn't expect Lin An to be so easy to talk to. At this time, his thoughts were not hindered at all, so he was quite happy. So, Jinbe's eyes became serious. At this moment, streams of water began to condense in his hands, and the streams flowed very fast. It can be seen from the speed of rotation alone. The power of this current must be very large. Jinbe saluted Lin An. Captain Lin An, please enlighten me. Chapter 163. Worries of the Fishmen Island. Advertise here. Chapter 163. Worries of the Fishmen Island. Looking at the polite Jinbe, Lin An also saluted back. Go ahead. After all, it was just a competition, and Lin An didn't take it too seriously. Not to mention that Jinbe's strength in the sea is 10 times stronger. Even if he is 100 times stronger, he still refuses to be his opponent. Today's competitions naturally have to be watered. Good. Jinbe also knows his level. The water column in his hand has been crushed by him. Murloc Karate, stare at bow. As Jinbe read out the names of the tricks, countless bullets made of water went straight to Lin An. That battle was like Gatling. Quote. Lin An shook his right hand. Cracks appeared along Lin An's surroundings. Break. The simplest application of shock fruit was used by Lin An. It's just a crack that directly blocked Jinbe's tricks. Open black lens bracket. You picked up an armament hockey perception experience, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You picked up a power, close black lens bracket. Attributes into the body. Lin An felt the attributes passed by Jinbe. I am also slightly satisfied. Not bad. Jinbe's strength in Heizong has reached the level of the Emperor's deputy, and he is even considered a strong man at the level of the Emperor's deputy. But, even so, Jinbe has made a big fuss. Not to mention that Hody Jones only reached a strength similar to this level by taking the evil drug S. He will definitely not be able to fully control himself because he is not familiar with his own strength. Even if Hody Jones really has this kind of strength, it doesn't matter to Lin An either. Sharp. Looking at Lin An, Jinbe was full of admiration. Even in the sea, Lin An still maintains his almost invincible aura. Hands float gently in the water. Jinbe quickly approached Lin An. A positive punch was thrown out. Count the impact acceleration of the water flow as he sloshes in the water. Lin An's face was reached in no time. Murloc Karate Tang Kawa Righteous Fist. Boom. Lin An blocked it directly with his hand. Open black lens bracket. You picked up an armament hockey perception experience, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You picked up a piece of agility, close black lens bracket. Another attribute entry. Lin An looked at Jinbe calmly. Not bad. Catch Jinbe's fist. Lin An nodded in satisfaction. Strength, speed, punch strength are honed to the ultimate. If it's just amazing tricks, you are much better than her few. Ha ha. Jinbe smiled awkwardly. Hearing Lin An's praise, Jinbe wished he could find a crack in the ground and sneak in. It's normal that the proficiency of tricks will be better than Lin An's. Lin An doesn't hit people with punches, but with devil fruit. And Lin An is only in his early 20s, he is already in his 50s. If this is weaker than Lin An, then his life is really in vain. Looking at Lin An, Jinbe also had an expression of disbelief on his face. The two moves in succession were easily resolved by Lin An. He already understood the strength gap between the two. But, as a strong man, he still has the dignity that a strong man should have. At least, he wants to break Lin An's defense. This became Jinbe's current goal. Captain Lin An, don't underestimate me. The Fishmen Island, Wang Gongcheng. Prince Sharkstar, it's not good. At this time, Neptune follows Lin An and Zephyr out of town. Today's palace city is controlled by Sharkstar. At this time Sharkstar looked at the panicked soldiers below, with a look of displeasure on his face. What's the fuss about? I don't know if the Whitebeard Pirates came today, let Captain Lin An and Zephyr instructor know, don't you laugh at us. The Fishmen Island has no rules. When is it, do you still care whether others laugh or not? The soldier looked at Sharkstar complainingly. Certainly. The words in my heart still only dared to complain in my heart, but did not dare to speak. The big thing is bad, Prince Sharkstar, people from the new Murloc Pirates have come in. What? Hearing this news, Sharkstar was dumbfounded on the spot. Call the soldiers of the Fishmen Island and resist immediately. The Fishmen Island Square. A group of people appeared. Behind them were countless Murlocs. I made a rough estimate. There are about 50,000 people. A man with white hair and a shark nose is standing in the center. He is the captain of the new Murloc Pirates, Hody Jones. He was followed by a man with Madara horse stripes, who was the cadre of the new Murloc Pirates, J.O. The hammerhead sharkman, with long hair and holding a hammer in his hand, is Das, the cadre of the new Murloc Pirates. A cigar Dharma sharkman, wearing the helmet of an ancient oriental warrior, is the cadre of the new Murloc Pirates, Dharma. A king squid, a bearded man wearing a racing driver's helmet, is Icarus Mushi, the cadre of the new Murloc Pirates. An octopus mermaid with a blue ring, holding a skewer of meatballs and a wine jug, is the undersea killer leopard. This is the arrival of the entire new Murloc Pirates, and even the most wanted killer leopard in the sea is hiding here. I didn't expect the opportunity to come so quickly. Hody Jones looked around. After the members of the Big Mom Pirates left, he had the idea of attacking the Neptune royal family. After all, although what the Neptune royal family did was considered for the Fishmen Island. But not for the Whitebeard Pirates. Now the Fishmen Island is once again managed by the Whitebeard Pirates. So that's it. The Whitebeard Pirates wanted the Fishmen Island very much, and even offended the Big Mom Pirates for it. And Neptune is the one who offended the Whitebeard Pirates. Hody Jones killed Neptune's words and obeyed the Whitebeard Pirates' words. Maybe even be honored by someone from the Whitebeard Pirates. This is the opportunity Hody Jones saw. A chance to completely overthrow the incompetent King Neptune. At the same time, it is also his first step to take revenge on the world. After all, the Whitebeard Pirates are just pirates after all. He just needs to pay enough to the Whitebeard Pirates. Then it is impossible for the Whitebeard Pirates to take care of them. By the time, isn't it true that Hody Jones dares to do whatever he wants? Wang's Hody Jones, who has a relatively developed thinking, even figured out the first thing after he ascended the throne. That is, except for the members of the Whitebeard Pirates, other people need to pay a high amount of money if they want to pass the Fishmen Island, and they are not even allowed to enter the Fishmen Island, they can only come outside the Fishmen Island replenishment. Tilda operator Hody Jones. At this time, people have already come out of the palace city. The three princes, Sha Xing, Huang Xing, and Xing Xing, and a lot of court generals followed behind the three of them. Although he recruits people temporarily. But because of Lin An's relationship, domestic soldiers have assembled. The time was short, but it also allowed him to gather 30,000 horses. Shark Star looked at Hody Jones in front of him. I didn't expect you to actually dare to appear in front of me again. Chapter 164 Jinbe's Challenge. Advertise here. Chapter 164 Jinbe's Challenge. Sharkstar looked fiercely at Hody Jones in front of him. He did not forget this man. When the royal queen Otahime died, it was this man who announced that Otahime was killed by humans. This led to the split of the Mermaid Island, which led to the disharmony between the Mermaid and Murloc tribes. Sharkstar once swore, if you meet Hody Jones again, he will definitely shoot and kill him. If you don't stay in Murloc Street well, aren't you afraid that I will kill you? Kill me. Listening to Sharkstar's words, Huo Daichong seemed to have heard the most ridiculous joke in the world. Just relying on the useless royal family that you haven't even touched blood. Is it a bit too whimsical? PFF'd. Ha ha ha. Hear Hody Jones. People around him laughed out loud. Many people even started making indecent gestures at Sharkstar. You bastard. Looking at Hody Jones in front of him. Anger was written all over Shark's face. If there was no Hody Jones. Even if Otahime died, it is also impossible for them to have a stalemate with human beings to the extent that human beings basically do not interact with the Fishmen Island. If it weren't for you, the Fishmen Island wouldn't have such a big separation from the human world. Sure enough, the royal family of the Fishmen Island is a bunch of trash. Listen to what Sharkstar said. The smile on Hody Jones' face faded away. The playful eyes looking at Sha Xing disappeared, replaced by killing intent. What's so good about humans? Why should we get along well with humans? Our creatures on the Fishmen Island have stronger strength and speed than humans even out of water. If there is water, it will be 10 times stronger. This innate racial talent is the proof that they are better than their humans. Listening to Hody Jones' words, Sharkstar shook his head. You are wrong. Intelligent creatures should not fight and kill. In the final analysis, we are all parasitic creatures in this world. Easy to say. Hody Jones was furious when he heard what Sharkstar said. There was an angry expression on the whole person's face. The trident in his hand trembled. Then, why do humans take our people as slaves, or even as ornamental fish? It's okay for you mermaids, because it conforms to human aesthetics and can become an ornamental fish without suffering. But we Murlocs can only be regarded as coolies. You want to make friends with humans. But human beings only want to arrest us, you Murlocs will be treated as pets, and we Murlocs will be treated as slaves. It's been so many years. Why are you Neptune royals still so stupid? Listen to Hody Jones. Those booing and people around all showed angry expressions. Even those mermaids fell silent. So many years. They Murlocs and mermaids are hunting illegally because of humans. That's right. Obviously everyone is an intelligent creature. But when it comes to humans, it is not human trafficking, it is just hunting. They completely regarded the mermaids and Murlocs as animals. Under the siege of this group of hunters, even the mermaids and Murlocs did not dare to surface. Otherwise, they will be taken away by them. Even Mermaid Island issued a decree to keep the mermaids and Murlocs from floating as much as possible. The group of people who are open-minded will still take huge risks, even the risk of life and death of being swallowed by the sea to come to the Fishmen Island for their so-called hunting. One pile, one piece. Long endured by the merfolk and Murlocs of the Fishmen Island. At this time, I heard Hody Jones' words. They were all gnashing their teeth. See here. Hody Jones spread his hands. Looking at Sharkstar in front of him. Did you see it? Not only the Murlocs in our Murloc Street, but even the mermaids on the main island of the Fishmen Island are also angry. Speaking of which, Hody Jones paused. And, compared to us, the Murlocs can only be regarded as slaves doing coolies. CEBB, you mermaids have more talents captured, right? Even those so-called high-level human beings, as long as they have some money, will arrange one or even more mermaids. Can you bear this too? Sharkstar looked at Hody Jones, not knowing how to respond for a moment. Even, his heart was infected by Hody Jones. After all, humans are just too much. Even the world government is turning a blind eye. To know, their Murlocs are also the sphere of influence of the world government. It is also to pay the sky gold. But they can't give the Fishmen Island enough protection. It seems that you are not completely hopeless. Hody Jones looked at Sharkstar's expression, and the corner of his mouth curled up. Have you heard the anger in your heart? That is the new life of all the Murlocs and mermaids on the entire Fishmen Island. That's their anger too. During the conversation, Hody Jones reached out to Sharkstar. Join our new Murloc pirates. Let us Murlocs and mermaids work together to change the injustice to the Fishmen Island. Dazed and stimulated by angry emotions, Shark Star slowly stretched out his hand. But, just when his hand was halfway out, a figure suddenly appeared in my mind. Beautiful, elegant, that's what his mother looked like. Consciousness returned instantly. Sharkstar looked at Hody Jones. No. Hating each other only deepens the hatred. I won't be fooled by you. How come? Not far from the entrance of Murloc Street. Jinbe looked at Lin An with an evil face. He has exerted all his strength, even exceeding his original strength. But, he still couldn't break Lin An's defense. Open black lens bracket. You picked up an armament hockey perception experience. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You picked up a power. Close black lens bracket. Receive the attributes passed by Jinbe. Lin An was not in a hurry. Don't be discouraged, your strength is already very strong. Can this be regarded as a compliment and comfort? Hearing Lin An's words, Zephyr, who was watching the battle from the sidelines, couldn't sit still. It's okay to take out every sentence of Lin An's words individually. But in today's situation, if Jinbe is not angry, it is considered that Jinbe has a good temper. Either don't speak, or think more about it when you speak. Look away. Lin An looked at Zephyr. His brain started to think quickly at this moment. Recalling what he said to Jinbe, he nodded deeply. But, approval is accreditation. But Lin An didn't intend to really listen to Zephyr. His eyes narrowed slightly. Lin An looked at Zephyr. It seems that you are not convinced. Chapter 165 Zephyr shot, Lin An 1v2. Advertise here. Chapter 165 Zephyr shot, Lin An 1v2. Zephyr doesn't think he is Lin An's opponent now. However, recognition belongs to recognition. After all, the two sides haven't had a serious fight yet. It is obviously impossible to make Zephyr admit Lin An without even playing a game like this. After all, he is also a legendary existence of the previous generation. Looking at Lin An, Zephyr showed seriousness on his face. I do have an idea to give it a try. Talking. Zephyr stepped out. People have appeared in front of Lin An. The right arm is fully open at this time. It is not known when it was filled with an ore that Lin An couldn't see. This ore is obviously filling energy for this mechanical arm. At this moment, a purple light appeared on Zephyr's arm. You can tell by feeling the airflow around it. This trick is definitely not easy. It's a strong breath. There was seriousness in Lin An's eyes. He was completely wary of Zephyr's move. Zephyr is, after all, a legend of the previous generation. If there is no broken arm, it is also an existence of the same level as Whitebeard. His full shot. Nature is to be taken seriously. Gen. There was seriousness in Lin An's eyes. The energy of shock fruit has begun to condense on the fists. A series of cracks spread along Lin An's hands to the surroundings. Destroy. Open black lens bracket. You picked up an observation hockey experience. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You picked up an armament hockey perception experience. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You picked up a power. Close black lens bracket. Enter the body with the attributes. The collision between Lin An and Zephyr spread out directly. Sharp. Looking at Zephyr, Lin An directly praised him. He even lost slightly in the battle with Zephyr just now. As expected of a man of the past era, even with a broken arm, he still has such strength. It's still not enough. Zephyr did not respond to Lin An's flattery. He knew Lin An's ability. Shock fruit is just one of his means of attack. There are also combos of sparkling fruit and shock fruit with sparkling fruit. Besides, there is also armed color winding, Conqueror's winding, which is a high-level hockey use method. I seem to be better than Lin An, but in fact it is only better than Lin An when he is not serious. And this can only be achieved by Zephyr using all his strength, and even using the tricks issued by the power core of the huge energy bomb that he wanted to blow up New World. Looking away, Zephyr looked at Jinbe, who was aside. Little guy, come with me. Hearing Zephyr's words, Jinbe showed a look of doubt on his face. It's not because Zephyr called him a kid. Although Jinbe's age is not to be ridiculed, but compared with Zephyr, it is not enough. What he wondered was that Zephyr had the upper hand in the battle with Lin An just now, so why did he need a helper? Good. Puzzled thoughts lingered in Jinbe's mind for a while, and Jinbe stopped thinking about it. All he wants now is to at least hit Lin An with a punch. This dream is just my own words, obviously there is no way to realize it. Just now when Zephyr made a move, he didn't make a move because he was not good at gang fights, and because he was afraid that Zephyr would be unhappy. At this time, since Zephyr took the initiative to invite. Naturally, Jinbe would not refuse. Okay, Zephyr instructor. Talking. Jinbe's body once again showed a surging momentum. The water flow around the whole person changed strangely. Murloc Karate 5000 Wajang Fist. The tricks are read out. Jinbe has already rushed towards Lin An. The armament hockey wrapped around the fist, and the strength of the fist that almost destroys everything is enough to make anyone feel fear. Even, Uzumaki was born in this sea area. Good. Watching Jinbe's moves, Zephyr nodded too. The robotic arm opens at this time. He took out a purple crystal-like thing. He took out another purple crystal-like item from his pocket and put it in. The newly taken out purple crystal-like thing is obviously brighter. Obviously. Zephyr feels that his robotic arm has insufficient energy. Replace the battery for the robotic arm. Recharge. Zephyr spoke. Zephyr began to gather a purple brilliance. This light. For a moment, there was an intention to completely cover the sea area near Murloc Street. Mortar. Target Lin An. Zephyr blasted out with one shot. On the Fishman Island, Sharkstar looked at Hody Jones and other members of the new Murloc Pirates in front of him. These people are almost in the early 50,000s. Hody Jones, is that all you want us to be brothers to brothers? Asking for flowers. Brotherhood. Listening to Sharkstar's words, Hody Jones had a mocking look on his face. He really couldn't figure it out. How dare Sharkstar say such a thing? If there wasn't much grievance between the human world and the Fishman Island, the mermaid and the Murloc were indeed like brothers. But from the moment the Murlocs wanted to have a good relationship with humans, they have already chosen to betray the mermaid clan. Hee. Sneered out loud. Hody Jones looked at Shark in front of him. Are you worthy of saying such things to us Murlocs? Look at the place where your mermaids live. During the conversation, Hody Jones stepped forward. The hands and eyes are lighting regularly. Beautiful, beautiful and sunny. Life is colorful. And what about us? Hody Jones set his sights on Sharkstar again. His hand pointed in the direction of Murloc Street. Dark, dilapidated, even without food and clothing. Is this what you call siblings? You fart. Hearing Hody Jones' words, the corners of Sharkstar's mouth twitched. The Fishman Island is the Fishman Island shared by our mermaids and your Murlocs. We never deported you. I even communicated with you some time ago, asking you to come back to live on the Fishman Island. Quote exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark quote. The angry roar spoke directly. Hody Jones scolded Sharkstar directly. You call that an invitation? If we want us to coexist peacefully with human beings, do you mean that you have forgotten Otahime back then? It's not like we haven't tried. But what do humans do to us? Hody Jones gradually walked into Sharkstar. Although the palace guards wanted to stop him, they were stopped by Sharkstar. Hody Jones easily walked in front of Sharkstar. Put both hands on Sharkstar's shoulders. He looked at Shawshing seriously. For the Fishman Island, for you and my tribe, and for Queen Otahime. We should not continue to seek reconciliation with humanity. Chapter 166. The Fishman Island Crisis. Advertise here. Chapter 166. The Fishman Island Crisis. We should have our own rights and rules. Is not it? Hody Jones looked at Sharkstar seriously. Expectation was written all over his face. You also think that we are two races that should be equal and that we should have the same rights. Humans can have all kinds of rights and rule making. We should at least obtain the rights and rule making that can protect our Murlocs and mermaids, right? To be honest, what Hody Jones wants can be said to be reasonable, and it is very reasonable. Only, still have a question. That is not strong enough. If you want to sit at the negotiating table, you must at least have the same level as the person opposite the negotiating table, or be weaker but not let the other party easily kill yourself. And these, the Fishman Island does not have. 27. Otherwise, Neptune would never have been able to deal with Lin An and Zephyr as if flattering him. Looking at Hody Jones in front of him, Sharkstar opened his hand on his shoulder. Hody Jones, do you know that we are not strong enough? Not enough. A smile spread across Hody Jones' face. Who says we're not strong enough? Are the Fishman Island is a country with a long history, how could there be no things to enhance its strength? Talking. Hody Jones pulled out a pill. This is the secret that your father has been hiding all along, and it is also the secret that the Fishman Island can really become stronger, and even surpass the giant race to become the strongest race in the sea. Listening to Hody Jones' words and seeing the excitement on Hody Jones' face, Sharkstar was confused instead. Although he is the eldest prince of the Fishman Island, he doesn't know what Hody Jones is talking about. It seems that coward Neptune has really been hiding it all along. Looking at Sharkstar's confused expression, Hody Jones showed a hint of anger on his face. He didn't expect Neptune to even hide this secret in the Fishman Island. Back then, the reason why the Murlocs and mermaids were able to snatch the only special island that could receive sunlight in the sea with countless sea kings was because of this murderous drug S. Now they have even forgotten the name of this magic medicine, and even the royal family of the Fishman Island don't know the existence of this thing. Its name is Poison S. Hody Jones gave Sharkstar one of the murderous drugs S in his hand. It is a magical medicine that can quickly increase the strength of the user. Every time you eat one, it can increase the strength of 100 people, and it can be superimposed infinitely. Gun. As a prince of a family, Sharkstar is also a martial artist himself, so he naturally understands the power of it. It can be superimposed to enhance the strength. This evil drug S Jonjong is the strongest instrument in the world. At this time, Sharkstar thought of what Hody Jones said before. If this evil drug S really has the effect Hody Jones said, it is really not a completely naive idea. Of course it is possible. Hody Jones stretched out his hand to signal Sharkstar to take a poisonous drug S. You only need to eat one to understand the power of this evil drug S. Seeing Hody Jones like this, Sharkstar frowned slightly. He dared not try. After all, this is something that the opponents, even those who led troops into the Fishman Island and planned to overthrow their regime, took it out. Scared, Hody Jones deserves to be a veteran. He directly grasped Sharkstar's idea. There is a hint of teasing in the language. If you are afraid, you don't need to eat it. It should be said that you are indeed a descendant of Neptune, in the same district as you. Sharkstar looked at Hody Jones in front of him and gritted his teeth. You bastard. Sharkstar would naturally not be affected by Hody Jones. But, this kind of saying that he is called a coward still makes him unhappy. Isn't it just to take a medicine, because I can't take this life, I don't want it. Talking. Sharkstar raised his head directly. The murderous drug S has been swallowed down Sharkstar's throat. Bang. Quote exclamation mark quote. The murderous drug S just took a bite. Sharkstar felt the power in his body soaring. The beating of the heart is also stronger and more powerful. This evil drug S not only enhances one's own strength, but also helps strengthen the body as a whole, so that one will not be dragged down by the limitations of bodily functions after possessing too much strength beyond one's own. How come? Feel the changes in your own strength. Sharkstar was full of disbelief. Hody Jones looked at Sharkstar, and the corner of his mouth curled up. I didn't lie to you, did I? Shaking his head slightly, Sharkstar is running again, bouncing back. I have to admit that I feel the changes in myself. Hody Jones really wasn't lying. At least this power will not deceive people. Speaking of which, Sharkstar looked at Hody Jones. However, it is impossible for this medicine to have no side effects. Of course there are side effects. Nor did Hody Jones have anything to hide. It's just a reduction in lifespan. These are the prices for the Murlocs and mermaids to regain their dignity, aren't they? At the beginning, the ancestors of our Murlocs and mermaids won the Fishman Island from the hands of many underwater creatures with the help of the murderous drug S. Isn't it more normal for us to use them again for the dignity of the Murlocs and mermaids now? Lose life in exchange for strength. Sharkstar felt the changes in his body. There was a hint of thought in his eyes. If this is the case, then this serious drug can be taken out and used. However, that is also to be used for normal things. And it must not be used by too many people. As for Hody Jones' suggestions and ideas, Sharkstar didn't mean to be moved by him. Hody Jones, I have to say that you are truly a rare talent on the Fishman Island. If you don't have the idea of fighting humans, I might really pull you back into the palace city against all odds. Sharkstar. Listening to Sharkstar's words, Hody Jones had a bad look on his face. He heard what Sharkstar said. 3.6 inches. It seems that I have talked to you so much that I even brought out the evil drug S. Still didn't convince you. Certainly. Sharkstar nodded, his expression firm. Don't forget who my queen mother is. Sharkstar seemed to see that weak, thin, but firm figure again in Shark's eyes. That's what keeps him alive. A child, and still an underage child, saw his mother die in front of his eyes. Otahime is the reason why he can persist until now and not go crazy. How could I have forgotten her claim? Chapter 167 Hody Jones makes a move. Advertise here. Chapter 167 Hody Jones shots. Otahime's death had a great impact on Shawshing and others. But, her faith also infected them. Peaceful coexistence with human beings is the result that Sharkstar and others have been pursuing. Although it is a bit difficult, it has made some progress now. Sharkstar doesn't want to completely ruin decades of hard work on the Fishman Island because of a lunatic like Hody Jones. Hody Jones, we are brothers to you. You have to believe in us. We have found an opportunity, and now the world government of human society has introduced laws to protect us, and in a few years, we will be truly equal to human beings. Now we just need to wait for the law to fully ferment and fully penetrate the human impression. It only takes a few more years, at most 10 years, until the law is remembered by mankind, and our compatriots and brothers will be safe. Several years, decades, and is it still the law to be pitied and given by human beings? Looking at the Sharkstar in front of him, mania appeared on Hody Jones' face. He thought the Neptunes were just stupid. We 24 the Fishman Island could have the ability to talk to the world government, why should we put up with them? Why? Shark sighed. Looking at Hody Jones in front of him, he spoke again. The relationship between people should be witnessed by time. You're in too much of a hurry. Ha ha ha. Hearing what Sharkstar said, Hody Jones laughed a little. Really? It's useless to talk to someone from the Neptune family. Talking. Hody Jones waved. People from Murloc Street behind him moved their hands one after another. If there is a disagreement, they will be beaten and killed directly. Then, the members of the Upton family have completely become the dust of history. Do it. Accompanied by Hody Jones' voice, it fell. The cadres of the new Murloc pirates who were standing behind Hody Jones moved immediately. The speed is fast. It spreads directly to the surroundings. These people themselves are powerful people, coupled with the blessing of the evil drug S, directly make their strength to a higher level. Especially the enemies they have to face are just some ordinary the Fishman Island guards. When these people make a move, it is like a wolf into a herd of sheep. Stop it. Shark Star saw that Hody Jones actually made a move, and quickly started to greet Hody Jones. We are a brother race, why do we kill each other like this? Not far from Sharkstar, a leader of the palace guard saw that there was a direct conflict here. He started running straight away. That direction is exactly where Lin An is, the place where Murloc Street and the Fishman Island meet. Cannibalism. Hody Jones looked at Sharkstar with dissatisfaction. His eyes were full of sarcasm. A group of pets that have been domesticated by humans. Also worthy of being called our brother race. Talking. Hody Jones squeezed his hands hard. The muscles are as tough as the long snakes coiling around his body. During the conversation, Hody Jones' fist is already hitting Sharkstar. You actually want to fight me? To this, Sharkstar looked at Hody Jones in disbelief. While blocking Hody Jones' attack with the trident in his hand, the whole person looked at Hody Jones with an expression of disbelief in his eyes. You kid, you are really naive. Seeing Sharkstar's expression and appearance, Hody Jones' entire face was filled with displeasure. The strength in his hands became even stronger. Crack. How can it be? Sharkstar looked at the trident in his hand. At this time, the trident actually had some traces of being about to be broken. You know, he himself has extremely strong physical fitness because he inherited Neptune's blood. In addition, he is a martial artist, and his strength is considered top among the Murlocs. But, even so, it still vaguely meant that he couldn't beat Hody Jones. There was a tyranny and murderous intent in Hody Jones' eyes. Crackling. A crisp sound sounded. The trident in Sharkstar's hand was directly interrupted by Hody Jones with physical force. Open black lens bracket. You picked up an observation hockey experience. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You picked up an armament hockey perception experience. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You picked up a power. Close black lens bracket. Lin An picked up the attributes dropped by Jinbe and Zephyr. Really? Or Zephyr's attributes are stronger. Quote. Eyes look forward. Rays of light burst out from Lin An's eyes. Cracks spread out on the fists, and there was a feeling that the world was about to be destroyed. Destroy. Smashed along Lin An's fist. Lin An punched Zephyr. Not enough to see. There was a gleam in Zephyr's eyes. He and Jinbe have already played against Lin An dozens of times. Both sides have figured out each other's whole cards. In the case where Lin An only uses shock fruit, he and Jinbe still have a slight chance of winning if they join forces. Jinbe. Zephyr yelled. Jinbe nodded. Both are masters. In addition, the two sides have been fighting and cooperating for a while, so they have already guessed Zephyr's thoughts. Murloc Karate Shark Palm Heel Strike. The trick is called out. Jinbe is already attacking from Lin An's left side. The whole person erupted with endless aura. Armament Hockey was also completely released by him at this moment. There is quite a sense of indomitableness in it. The Zephyr on the other side was no different. A purple light flickered on the right arm. The mechanical arm is driven by him to the maximum energy release. People have come to Lin An's left 687 side. Look at the fist. A purple lightning flashed across. It is clear that Jinbe's attack was done after Jinbe's, but his fist went to Lin An's side first. Open black lens bracket. You picked up an observation hockey experience. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You picked up an armament hockey perception experience. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You picked up a piece of agility. Close black lens bracket. Tisk. For Zephyr's sudden arrival, Lin An clicked his tongue. This guy is definitely calculating. The energy of shock fruit has not been gathered yet. Without any choice, Lin An's whole body turned into a golden light and disappeared in place. He punched nothing. Zephyr didn't show a disappointed expression on his face, but looked at Lin An with a smile on his face. Finally forcing you to use sparkling fruit. Of course Zephyr knew that even if he used the sparkling fruit Lin An, he didn't use his full strength. But at least it made Lin An serious. The eyes moved slightly. Zephyr looked in the direction where Jinbe was. At this point Jinbe has changed paths. Came directly in front of Lin An. Murloc Karate plus Armament Hockey Entanglement and Murloc Blessing in the sea. This punch already has the power of Admiral's Blow. Captain Lin An, I'm sorry. The 168th King Gongcheng asks for help. Lin An arrives. Advertise here. The 168th King Gongcheng asks for help. Lin An arrives. Talking. Jinbe directly hit Lin An's face. In this regard, Lin An smiled slightly. This is not enough. There was a gleam in his eyes. Lin An also swung his fist. At this point Lin An has been gathered. A punch that contains the energy of shock fruit is punched directly. Bang. There was a muffled sound. Lin An's punch directly sent Jinbe flying backwards. Open black lens bracket. You picked up an observation hockey experience. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You picked up an armament hockey perception experience. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You picked up a power. Close black lens bracket. Attributes enter the body again. Lin An looked in the direction of Jinbe and Zephyr. At this time also came the interest. He had just said it in his heart when he was fighting Jinbe and Zephyr. Only use shock fruit, otherwise he loses. At this time, according to the rules set by Lin An himself, Lin An has already lost. You two are still very good. I was forced to use the power of the sparkling fruit, and I lost this round. Lin An said. On the surface, there was no intention of stopping at all. In the next round, I will use shock fruit and sparkling fruit to deal with you. Talking. Lin An's body has become elemental. However, before Lin An made another shot, a voice came from behind. Oh no, don't fight yet. Neptune's voice came from far to near. He quickly ran to the middle of the three. It directly blocked the competition between Lin An and Zephyr. There was another person beside him, and it was the captain of the palace guard who ran away before. This person didn't just run away, but realized that Hody Jones' strength was definitely not something they could handle, so he ran over to ask for help. Captain Lin An, Zephyr Admiral, and Jinbe, you three stop fighting, and listen to me first. Neptune briefly explained the matter of Hody Jones. That's the way it is. Then Hody Jones got the evil drug S, it's not something we Wang Miyaji can handle. Please help the three of you. Hody Jones. Hearing the name, Lin An didn't pay attention to Neptune, but set his eyes on Jinbe who was on the sidelines. Jinbe, who had just been punched by Lin An, had already returned. The Hody Jones who was attacking the Fishman Island now is the Hody Jones you told me about. He should be right. Jinbe nodded. After all, other people can't do this kind of thing. There are still people with the same name. After all, it is a big country with 5 million people. But, he was able to attack the Murlocs of the Fishman Island, and his appeal was so strong that more than 50,000 people could obey his orders. When all these conditions are put together, there is only one person left. That is Hody Jones, the leader of the new Murloc Pirates and the real master of Murloc Street. According to Jinbe's idea, he wanted Lin An to help kill him. But, sorry to say it out. For a moment, Jinbe was caught in a tangle. Jinbe's entanglement can be said to be anxious for Neptune and the captain of the palace guard. Captain Lin An. Seeing that Jinbe kept silent, Neptune looked at Lin An. There was an apologetic smile on his face. Although I'm a little embarrassed, I still asked Captain Lin An for help. Of course, we, the Fishman Island, will take revenge. It's still the same price as last time, 10 tons of gold. 50 fist-sized night pearls. 50 kilograms of crystals and diamonds of various colors. Although Lin An was surprised by Neptune's compensation, he didn't need to pay too much attention to it because he had experienced it once. At this moment, he looked at Jinbe's troubled look, and Lin An smiled slightly. So, what do you plan to do with me? Jinbe looked at Lin An, and decided to ask for help after he struggled. I also asked Captain Lin An for help. 17. Good. Lin An readily agreed. When dealing with friends, Lin An has never considered gains or losses. What's more, it's just to deal with some people whose strength is supernova. After agreeing, Lin An looked at Neptune. The reward just promised will be delivered to my ship. Ah, Neptune was taken aback. Why, don't you want to give it? Lin An frowned and asked back. Yes, of course. Neptune looked happy, and in his heart he wanted to beat himself to death. Lin An obviously intends to save Jinbe's face and help, but because of face, if Jinbe doesn't open his mouth, he won't do anything. But, how could Jinbe not speak? I am concerned about it, but I am self-defeating. Originally, the money was not spent at all. Although the Fishman Island is said to be able to collect resources from the entire seabed. But the seabed cannot use mechanized tools as easily as on land or islands. It is not easy to collect resources. Bang! On the Fishman Island. Hody Jones stepped on Shark Star's chest. Looking down at him from above. You boy, it's interesting. Why, maybe, so forced. Shark Star looked at Hody Jones with disbelief written all over his face. Shark Star's strength has skyrocketed a lot because he took the evil drug S. But, he was still beaten by Hody Jones. Of course I am more willing than you. Quote. Hody Jones raised his mouth. He took out a box of evil drug S directly from his arms. This box. There are about 100 or so. Did you see it? I ate 2 bottles of this stuff for the Fishman Island. Why do you think I will lose to you? Impossible. Watch Hody Jones. Shark Star had a look of disbelief. If it means what you said. You took 200 pills of S, and your lifespan has been cut by more than half. That's right. Hody Jones nodded. My lifespan is indeed not very long, and even writing can predict my own death. Speaking of which, Hody Jones looked up at the Fishman Island sky. That is the only source of light on the entire ocean floor. It is also the country that the ancestors of the Murloc and Mermaid, Li Hao Hao tribe laid down for them with their lives. That's my proof for the Fishman Island. I will replace you cowardly royal family and bring the Fishman Island to glory again. As for you to put. Hody Jones looked at Shark Star, who was stepped on by him, with a fierce smile on his face. Go to hell. Talking. Hody Jones held out his palms. The gesture is about to insert it into Shark Star's throat. This means to directly kill Shark Star. Sparkle. Laser. However quit. At this moment, a laser cut through the sky and directly penetrated Shark Star's arm. Look along the direction of the laser emission. Lin An, Zephyr, Jinbe and Neptune. They caught up. Chapter 169 Destroying the New Murloc Pirates. Advertise here. Chapter 169 Destroy the New Murloc Pirates. Sharkstar was saved by Lin An from Hody Jones. Is he Hody Jones? Seeing the tense muscles all over his body, Lin An looked at Jinbe and Neptune beside him. Well, that's him. Jinbe looked at Hody Jones' face with a slightly complicated expression. He had the idea of wanting to deal with Hody Jones, but he couldn't bear it. Are you Lin An? Hody Jones looked at the hand that had been pierced by the laser, and the pain didn't make him lose his composure. Yes, it's me. Looking at Hody Jones, Lin An also had a look of doubt on his face. This guy dared to attack the Fishman Island when he was around, and even saw himself back without any fear. It's really strange. Since you know what I say, then just grab it without a fight. It also prevents me from making a move. Hody Jones and the other members of the new Murloc Pirates are at the most supernova level. If you want them to help you with your own strength, you can't say that you don't have it at all, it can only be said that it is not satisfactory. Not so much that you need to do it yourself. It would be best if Hody Jones and the others could surrender directly by themselves. I really don't want to fight against you, Captain Lin An 373, but I won't do the surrender. Hear Hody Jones say that. Lin An's body began to rise in momentum. Hody Jones quickly spoke again. Wait a minute, I have my own reasons, and it can make the Whitebeard Pirates more profitable. Oh, Lin An had a look of curiosity on his face. The sparkling fruit energy that had just been condensed was dissipated by him. If that's the case, then tell me. Okay, thank you Captain Lin An. Responded. A smile appeared on Hody Jones' face. Although Hody Jones is a radical from the Fishmen Island, he also understands the gap between himself and Lin An. Even if the entire Murloc Street is mobilized, Lin An may not be injured. All he has to do now is to persuade Lin An not to care about this matter. As for whether Lin An will change his mind, he doesn't find it difficult. After all the Whitebeard Pirates want is an obedient the Fishmen Island. Compared with Neptune, a traitor, he is obviously more in line with the identity of a pirate. It is true that I intend to overthrow the regime of the Neptune royal family, but I do not intend to quit the Whitebeard Siege pirate group. 17. Compared to that traitor Neptune, I, who is a pirate myself, are obviously more suitable to cooperate with you. Looking at Lin An, Hody Jones' face was full of seriousness. Just like the relationship between Doflamingo and Kaido, we can also cooperate. I'm here to fund the Whitebeard Pirates, and the Whitebeard Pirates give us the protection of the Fishmen Island. 7 inches. Isn't that more reasonable than letting that Neptune guy prostitute the Whitebeard Pirates for nothing? It's true to say that. Regarding Hody Jones' words, Lin An nodded seriously. So, Captain Lin An, you agreed. Listening to Lin An's words, Hody Jones had a look of joy on his face. He just knew it. With such a generous condition, Lin An will definitely not be unimpressed. If it is said that there is no betrayal of Neptune before, the Whitebeard Pirates may not agree to the cooperative relationship and face issues between the two parties, but now Neptune's betrayal has made this possibility a reality. But, seeing Hody Jones' excited appearance, Lin An spoke again. The Fishmen Island controls the entire underwater world. Even if it is not gold, gems and other treasures. Things like pearls are useless on the Fishmen Island, but they are very valuable in the human world. If it is really such a cooperation model, it is obviously better than the cooperation model with Neptune. Only, although Neptune may rebel, he knows his character well. He is a good king. A good king who doesn't want his people to suffer. That's why, the Whitebeard Pirates hardly need to worry and pay attention to the Fishmen Island. The Fishmen Island as naturally they belong to the Beard Pirates. Although Hody Jones said that the conditions given are more generous. But it is uncontrollable. I'm not very interested. Lin An's words directly caught everyone's attention. Neptune, even those who were waiting in Neptune's royal court breathed a sigh of relief. Hody Jones, Doss and other members of the new Murloc Pirates were stunned. Don't make such a face. Seeing the expression on the side of the new Murloc Pirates, Lin An was a little speechless. Look at your own Jolly Roger. Tell me, how can we trust you? Quote. Hody Jones was speechless. He didn't expect that there was a problem with this link. Anti-humanity is the benchmark and core for him to pull some Murlocs and some mermaids. It is also the reason why his new Murloc Pirates can continue to grow. Unexpectedly, there were side effects at this time. Indeed, according to Lin An's ethnicity, they really shouldn't believe in themselves. Looking at Lin An, Hody Jones showed seriousness on his face. Captain Lin An, you have to trust us. Even if you gave us 10,000 guts, we wouldn't dare to go against the Whitebeard Pirates. Without further ado, Lin An was speechless. He doesn't care who is in charge of the Fishmen Island, but it is absolutely impossible for people who are anti-human and even use the sign of beheading human heads as a banner to become the ruler of the Fishmen Island. Otherwise, once the time is right or the strength is sufficient. Definitely when the Fishmen Island turned mutiny. The hands are gradually filled with streaks of golden brilliance. The ability of sparkling fruit is activated at this moment. I don't have anything else to say, so I'll do it. When you get to Hades, don't blame me for not finishing what I wanted to say before letting you die. Are you forcing me to confront you head on? Hearing Lin An's words, Hody Jones still wanted to please, and even increased the tax on the Whitebeard Pirates one after another. But after trying several times, he found that Lin An didn't care what he said at all. Totally wanted to kill him. You're not good enough. Listening to Hody Jones' words, Lin An smiled slightly. There was a mockery on his face. He wondered where Hody Jones had gotten his courage. He, a supernova-level person, wanted to fight himself. I still say that, either surrender or die. Ha 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 ha. Hody Jones had a smile on his face. The whole body began to shake irregularly. Staring straight at Lin An, a handful of capsules appeared in his hand at some point. You don't really think I'm afraid of you. Chapter 170 Destroying the New Murloc Pirates. Advertise here. Chapter 170 Destroying the New Murloc Pirates. Looking at the things in Hody Jones' hands, Lin An showed a clear expression on his face. This is the so-called evil drug S. If people like Kaido and Garp eat it, Lin An may pay attention to it. It's just Hody Jones at the supernova level, so what if he loses his life? The weak are only the weak after all, no matter how Lan Ming is, he is only the weak. So, you plan to fight me? Certainly. Hody Jones directly stuffed a handful of the murderous drug S into his mouth and swallowed it directly. In an instant, Hody Jones underwent a huge change. The muscles around the body become more solid. Even the hair is turning white. Bros. Roar. Hody Jones greeted other members of the new Murloc Pirates directly. Das, Joe, Bodhidharma, Icarus Mushi, Hammond, and Baozang immediately came to Hody Jones' side. Looking at Lin An, Hody Jones said, if I say I want to fight Lin An, the fifth emperor of the sea, will you continue to follow me? Won't. Are you joking, Jones? 6 people expressed their opinions one after another. Although he was obviously afraid of Lin An, he didn't mean to back down. Good. Hody Jones stretched his hand to his bosom. In this way, a large package of the evil drug S appeared in his hands. He gave it directly to others. Eat him, and destroy this so-called Sea Emperor with me. 6 people stepped forward one after another. One by one, they ate the evil drug S. Moment. The eyes of the 6 cadres of the new Murloc Pirates were red. The muscles all over his body instantly bulged. Strength has been greatly enhanced. Want to use drugs against me? Isn't it a little whimsical? There was a look of indifference in Lin An's eyes. He didn't stop Hody Jones. Anyway, it's just a group of small shrimps, and it's possible to watch the fun by letting them toss around a bit. Otherwise, wouldn't it be too boring? Seeing them taking the evil drug S, and even adapting to the changes in their own strength, Lin An said, is your farce over? Farce. Listening to Lin An's words, there was anger in the eyes of the 7 Hodichas. Good, very good. Looking at Lin An, Hody Jones' whole person has changed. The 6 members of the new Murloc Pirates behind him also grinned furiously. I want to see if you can still be so calm after a while. Hody Jones' voice fell. The 6 people behind him flew out directly. Under the blessing of a large handful of the evil drug S, the speed of these 6 people's actions is so fast that if you don't look carefully, you won't even be able to see their figures. Is it just this level? However, Lin An disagreed. Of course, Lin An also has his capital. With the addition of sparkling fruit. Kizaru is the only person in this world who can compete with him in speed. This speed, it's really not worth mentioning. Sparkling Bafang Han sword. Open your mouth calmly. Lin An placed his right hand on top of his left palm. A beautifully shaped Bafang Han sword appeared in his hand. Clang. The sound of metal clashing sounded. An octopus murloc appeared beside Lin An. It was the murloc killer, Leopard Kang. Leopard Zhang looked at Lin An with disbelief in his eyes. How is it possible? Under the blessing of the evil drug S, Leopard Hidden is more than 100 times better than before. However, even if he is now, and even in the case of a surprise attack, he is still easily seen through by Lin An. Open black lens bracket. You picked up a power. Close black lens bracket. Nothing is impossible. Lin An spoke calmly. The Bafang Han sword in his hand has already penetrated Leopard Zhang's body. First, so easily solved a person. Lin An didn't stop. Fast forward. He came directly to Icarus Mushi, who looked the most reckless. Looking for me. Icarus Musi looked at Lin An, his eyes filled with red light. The spear in his hand quickly stabbed at Lin An. Even Leopard, who is a killer, can't stop Lin An's attack, so how can he be Lin An's opponent? The long gun in his hand has not yet waited to be shot. His body was divided into 2. Open black lens bracket. You picked up an armament hockey perception experience. Close black lens bracket. The second. Speak calmly. Lin An walked forward again. This time, Lin An's speed slowed down a lot. However, even if Lin An's speed slowed down, the remaining Hody Jones and the other 4 were also scared. Looking in the direction where Lin An is. Even under the stimulation of the evil drug S, these people's heads are a little crazy, and they still can't resist the fear in their hearts. Asking for flowers. The sense of powerlessness of, killing you, what's your business? Filled my heart. Lin An is just horrible. This is not a person, it is a monster. A monster that can knead any creature at will. In front of Lin An. No one has the so-called odds of winning. Despair. Fear. Powerless. Laozi quit, just when Lin An walked towards Hody Jones step by step. That oppressive feeling finally drove a person crazy. It is the shortest body Dharma of the new Murloc pirates. Dharma was scared. I was so afraid that I only knew how to run away. Don't. Hody Jones looked in the direction in which Bodhidharma was escaping. He was not angry with Bodhidharma. It is the current stage of confrontation between the two sides. Even if it is said that Lin An's strength far surpasses them. Running away is definitely an unwise decision. Because running away means turning your back on the enemy, and also means being alone. The result of these two conditions combined is only one, death. Ah, really? After a scream, Dharma collapsed directly to the ground. Lin An's figure had arrived beside him at some point. Damn it. Hody Jones looked in the direction where Lin An was. The fear in the eyes gradually surfaced. The rest of you, approach me immediately. We have to find a way to block this bastard's attack, so that we can fight back. Until this time, Hody Jones still had the desire to defeat Lin An in his eyes. I have to say that this perseverance and ambition is indeed commendable. Listen to Hody Jones. The remaining two of the new Murloc pirates, Jo and Das, approached Hody Jones directly, and the three of them formed a triangle posture. It looks like this. Obviously, he intends to rely on various observations to try to decipher Lin An's speed, so that he can detect Lin An's actions and give him the possibility to counterattack. Bring it on. Hody Jones looked at Lin An. There was a serious look on his face. At this time, he has completely decided to go all out. The bag of evil drug S is taken out again. Directly eat a bag of evil drug S. Chapter 171 The Fishmen Island is over, return. Advertise here. Chapter 171 The Fishmen Island is over, return. After eating a whole bag of evil drug S again, Hody Jones' whole body has undergone tremendous changes. The whole body has become an extremely uncoordinated huge muscle group. Tisk. Seeing this, Lin An clicked his tongue. How do you fight like this? Also, taking such a large amount of life-shortening drugs, your body can't bear it anymore. As if to confirm Lin An's words. After Hody Jones' body swelled to a certain extent, it began to decline rapidly. The muscles in the body also quickly disappeared. Get smaller, still. Even after returning to his original size, he was still getting smaller. Not only that, his skin was also wrinkling rapidly. Not long. The person has collapsed to the ground. The March 17th. Rage in the eyes completely disappeared, and what appeared instead was unwillingness and yearning. I want to let the Fishmen Island. Quote. The words are not finished yet. Hody Jones has died in front of Lin An and others. The heart for the Fishmen Island is really touching. It's a pity that it's too extreme. Even if you can be gentler, with your intelligence and courage, you may not be able to change someone's current situation. Looking at the dead Hody Jones, Lin An shook his head. Then he raised his head and looked at Das and Jo, who were standing there at a loss. Are you two going to fight again? Or surrender? Hody Jones is all dead. How could anyone still have the will to fight? Das and Jo just surrendered after a little consideration. 3 days later. The Fishmen Island thing is over. Jinbe looked at Lin An, who was about to leave, with a look of sincerity in his eyes. Captain Lin An, thank you this time. You're welcome. Lin An shook his head. Looking at Jinbe, he asked again. Also, do you really not consider going with me? Jinbe's strength is sufficient, especially when facing demon fruit power. He is even more useful than Lin An at certain times. Especially Paramesh's devil fruit. Some abilities really cannot be dealt with by a high force value. These days, Lin An also wants to pull Jinbe onto the boat. Unfortunately, Jinbe has always been rejected. No. Jinbe shook his head. I still won't leave with you, the Fishmen Island still needs me to guard it. Talking. Jinbe glanced at the Neptune royal family. It's true. The Fishmen Island is such a big island with a population of 5 million. In terms of strength, there is really only one Jinbe who can stand up to the table. Then I'm going. After speaking, Lin An returned to his boat. In addition to the supplies I brought when I came here, there are many more things on board today. The most eye-catching thing is naturally the treasure given by Neptune. 20 tons of gold, 100 fist-sized night pearls, and 100 kilograms of crystals and diamonds of various colors. Gone. The sea voyage can be said to be quite boring. Lin An was not in the mood to mess around with the brothers below. Also carried out the entertainment project of fishing. Originally, Lin An was dismissive of those fishermen. After all, a pole is a day by the water. There are even quite a few anglers who often complain about the Air Force. Explanation. Air Force in the mouth of anglers means that no fish is caught from the beginning of fishing to the end of fishing complaining. What is the meaning of this kind of movement that is almost in a daze? However, after he really got used to fishing, and then the fun really comes. Especially the sense of anticipation about how big the next fish will be and what the next 10 fish will be makes him even more excited. That's all. With the stimulation of fishing all the way, the days of the return trip were not so hard. In this way, Lin An returned to the Whitebeard Pirates after wandering in the ocean of New World for more than 10 days. Father, I brought you back 20 tons of gold, 100 fist-sized night pearls, 100 kilograms of diamonds and crystals. Back on the Moby Dick, Lin An asked people to tell where Neptune got the financial report and put it in the warehouse of the Moby Dick, and he went to the place where the beard was. At this time, in front of Whitebeard was a beautiful girl in a dress. Good job. Whitebeard listened to the voice and looked in Lin An's direction. Don't ask how Lin An got so much treasure. Responding to Lin An, Whitebeard looked in the direction of the girl again. Say Sao is here. Miss Karina, this is the person you want to invite. I am the heir of Whitebeard, and now Lin An, the captain of the 17th Division of the Whitebeard Pirates. Karina, that is, the beautiful girl with blue short hair in the dress also stood up after hearing this. Slowly stretching out her palm in front of Lin An. Hello, I am the chief singer of the Golden City, and my name is Karina. Golden City has recently entered the sphere of influence of the Whitebeard Pirates, and we are discussing fees and other issues with Whitebeard. Hello. Lin An has heard of Golden City. That is also a man who has developed his fruit ability to the ultimate. And it is also the most favorite metal in the entire human world, the Golden Devil Fruit Golden Fruit. Although, because of this name, people will always have some unnecessary thoughts. But I have to admit that. This is the devil fruit that most people dream of. Even if he can only change and absorb the gold element metal around him. But just the elements are enough. Even the air contains gold elements, but only in small quantities. Just be able to collect them all. The number naturally increased. Even if it is about to encounter a golden city, it is definitely not a big deal. That's it. It will also cancel all your expenses in the golden city for you. Karina paused at this point. Nice to meet you. It just so happened that these times were impelled down again, Summit War again, Four Emperors battle again, and the Fishman Island event again. Of course, we will protect your privacy and prepare a mask for you. We will only say that you have come to the Golden City. After all, you are the top player in the New World today. If you are present, the Golden City will definitely be more prosperous. Lin An nodded after listening. We intend to invite you aboard. Lin An responded politely, as such that there was some doubt in his eyes. P.S. Begging for an automatic subscription and a tip, as long as there is one, the author will continue to explode with 30,000 words tomorrow. Father means you are looking for me, what are you looking for me for? Karina 3.3 looked at Lin An in front of her. This is also the origin of the name Golden City. Lin An and Karina let go of their hands. Lin An is also tired, and Golden Island is also a good place to relax. Chapter 172, Jinchuan's Invitation, Golden Fruit. Advertise here. Chapter 172, Jinchuan's Invitation, Golden Fruit. As the so-called combination of work and rest, a degree of relaxation is the correct way to play life. This Golden City can be said to be the most relaxing place on the entire sea. However, whether the Golden City can reach the sphere of influence of the Whitebeard Pirates depends on Whitebeard. With Whitebeard not nodding, Lin An couldn't agree. His gaze turned to Whitebeard, with a hint of questioning in his eyes. Whitebeard obviously understood what Lin An meant, and nodded in a subtle way. All right. Whitebeard agreed to come down. Apparently the two sides have negotiated matters. Then it's not a big deal for me to go whoring for free for a few days. Then there will be labor. Golden City. The world's largest entertainment city. It was founded by Gilder Tezzolo, a golden fruit-capable person known as the Golden Emperor. Lin An is also here for the first time. Wherever I go, what I see can only be described in two words, luxury. It is a luxurious and well-built building. Even the road signs next to it are made of precious metals. The vehicles walking on the roadside are also very particular. 24 Lin An has never seen such a bustling and extravagant place in his life plus the two previous lives, and he has never even thought about it. Captain Lin An, a man in pink clothes with a mix of fashion and mischievous attire looked at Lin An led by Karina, and greeted him very warmly. It's me, are you Gilder? Lin An responded. There was a look of scrutiny on his face. This Golden City is indeed very lively, and it also has a huge influence in the world. But it's just that it's really impossible for Lin An to react to this level. Being rich doesn't do much in this world. Strength is everything. Even, the strength is strong enough to a certain extent to be able to grab a king's dang. When asked by the world government, it said that there would be nothing wrong with a normal regime change. If Lin An's current strength wants wealth, even if you don't have the golden fruit, you can definitely easily obtain wealth far exceeding the total amount of the Golden City. Nice to meet you. I'm even happier, Mr. Lin. Gilder greeted Lin An enthusiastically. He took out a golden mask that could cover the upper half of his face and handed it to Lin An. Mr. Lin, this is the mask I prepared for you. As for what I promised you, Miss Karina has already told you, right? Lin An nodded. All consumption in the Golden City is paid by the Golden City. That's right. Gilder reached into his pocket. A black card appeared, and Gilder handed it directly to Lin An. This is the unlimited black card that only the highest members of the Golden City can have. Let me tell you quietly, I have only issued 5 cards of this kind before. One is Doflamingo, 3 are Celestial Dragons, 1 is 5 Elders, and the 6th is you. Even the Celestial Dragons and 5 Elders are here. Is this showing off your connections to me? Lin An took the black card handed over by Gilder. Although he was a little upset, Lin An didn't care. This time I came here to relax. Putting the mask in his hand on his face, Lin An didn't respond to Gilder's words, and turned around to look at the car behind him. I looked at myself in the car mirror. Although this golden mask is a bit conspicuous. However, it is indeed possible to keep the secrecy. Just looking at the face exposed under the mask, you really can't see yourself. You back off, I'll just play by myself. After saying something indifferent, Lin An walked into the golden city of Gulen Tezzolo. No need to say much. As soon as Karina stepped forward to say something, Gilder stopped her. Just put on your mask and serve him well. Although this Lin An is strong and brave, but judging by his actions and previous actions, he is not a violent person. We are just driving and doing activities normally, 4 emperors will not make things difficult for us. Listening to Gilder's words, Karina nodded. He took out a feather mask from the bag in his hand, and followed Lin An in small steps. Captain Lin An, can you play? At this time, Lin An exchanged some game coins in the Golden City and stood in front of a fruit machine. Listening to Karina's voice, I looked in her direction. Aren't you the #1 singer in the Golden City? Why don't you prepare for singing and dancing? Karina smiled slightly. There is no rush, the main reason is that Mr. Lin An will not have a good time. Afraid I'm not having fun. Lin An just felt like laughing at this. After all, the toys in the Golden City are well-known things. And I own 2 demon fruit powers of shock fruit and sparkling fruit. Machine-type gameplay can be adjusted with shock fruit. For other games such as poker, you can use the dynamic visual speed brought by sparkling fruit to remember cards. Clang. A gold coin was thrown into the fruit machine, and Lin An pulled down the joystick. No hurry, let the machine run for a while. Lin An was talking without taking his hands off the machine. After the machine turned to 7, the shock fruit started inadvertently. 3 times in a row, 3 numbers 7, 7, 7 have appeared on the fruit machine. The fruit machine began to spit out gold coins crazily. This small show of his hand directly increased the gold coins in Anne's hand by 10,000. Sharp. Looking at Lin An, Karina opened her small mouth slightly, looking a little seductive. If she was just flattering before. So now she is really convinced by 400 Lin An. After all, the Golden City does not believe in strength, but in Chinshu. It doesn't matter how strong Lin An is outside. Especially for someone like Karina. It's the ability to make money that surprises her. Karina had a money fanatic smile on her face. It's the first time I've heard this name. That's the wrong thing to say. Listening to Karina's words, Lin An nodded. Lin An finished speaking. Since it's going to delay your earning money, let me pay your money today. While taking out the gold coins from the machine, he said, this craft seems to make quick money. Lin An shook his head in denial. And Chang'e is a safe and reliable job. It's a bit interesting. Which things are interesting here, please help me introduce them. Take out 10 gold coins and hand them to Karina. It's practically impossible to play too much of this. As a result, the gold coin handed over by Lin An. P.S. Begging for an automatic subscription and a tip, as long as there is one, the author will continue to explode with 30,000 words tomorrow. At this time, he had already picked up part of the gold coins, and he stored the rest in the black card again. If I had the ability, I would have stopped performing on stage a long time ago. Thank you, boss. Chapter 173, The Incomparably Luxurious Golden City. Advertise here. Chapter 173, The Incomparably Luxurious Golden City. Whether it's something fun. Karina had a thoughtful look on her face. At this time, she is not just for work and completing Gilder's task. She really finds it interesting to be with Lin An. There was a hint of thought in his eyes. Karina showed a touch of excitement on her face. Since Mr. Lin An has such superb skills, then I will take Mr. Lin An to play in the Golden City. Finished. Karina added. Anyway, you have a black card. Don't worry about it being too expensive. Lin An glanced at Karina. This girl who was about his own age was so smooth. He didn't care what happened to Karina to make her have such a heart at a young age. However, Lin An doesn't like being called honorifics either. It's really awkward. You don't need to be so born, just call me Lin An. Okay, love. Karina readily agreed. She is tactful and has a bold style of dealing with things, and she can also see Lin An's character. Soon, he took Lin An to a machine. This machine is a boxing machine. And it is the strongest boxing machine in the world. Play. Looking at the boxing machine, Lin An nodded. Clenched right fist. I used Shock Fruit's ability unconsciously. Stop. Seeing this, Karina quickly stopped Lin An. Lin An, we are here to have fun, not to cause damage. It's better not to break things. 2. Lin An nodded. Reclaimed Shock Fruit's energy. Even withdrew a lot of strength. Bang. Punch down. It took a long time for the machine to respond to the number. 1,600 kilograms. Single quote. It went directly to the first place of the boxing machine. Hiss. Seeing this number, Karina took a deep breath. Looking at Lin An, there was a hint of doubt in his eyes. Lin An, are you sure you took back Devil Fruit's ability W? Lin An nodded. He was also a little surprised by this result. If you have to compare it with something. That is, Tyson's full-strength punch in his previous life was only 800 kilograms. This random punch of mine has twice the strength of Tyson. This is really too amazing. However, this is also normal. After all, the previous life was the real world, but this is the fantasy world. As the machine broken, this guy actually hit 1,600 kilograms. Lin An was quickly discovered here. With the exclamation, many people gathered around. After seeing Lin An's results, everyone was a little dumbfounded. At this time, Lin An, the instigator, was dragged away by Karina, who had sensed something was wrong. Under the leadership of Karina, a familiar person, Lin An quickly played most of the entertainment facilities in the Golden City. Most are facilities that cost money. Lin An actually earned tens of thousands more gold coins. Converted to Pele, there are about 100 million Pele. Lin An, you are really too strong. Looking at Lin An, Karina's face is full of admiration. She is greedy for money on the one hand, and fun on the other. Fine. Lin An also had a good time. At this moment his eyes were looking for something that could interest him. Sudden. A few people with slightly familiar faces, but who couldn't remember for a while appeared in front of them. Marine. Out of the corner of the eye, she glanced at Karina next to her. Since I can't think of it for a while, it's good to let others answer my question. Lin An pretended to be casual and said, will Marine also come here to play? Of course. Not just Marine. Even celestial dragons and kings of various countries come to play here. Karina nodded. She also followed Lin An's eyes and looked over. It turned out to be the two of them. One of these two is Momosuke and the other is T-Dolphin, but they are both regular customers. It turned out to be the two of them. No wonder it is more familiar, but I can't remember it. Both Momosuke and T-Pig are candidates for Admiral. As a pirate, of course I am very familiar with it. When Lin An was a soldier of the Whitebeard Pirates, he was dragged by Sage to recognize Vice Admiral and above Marine several times. The Momosuke and T-Dolphin are naturally among them. No wonder it sounds familiar, but I can't remember it. These two people, Lin An, only saw them in the photos, but never actually met. Not bad. Lin An smiled slightly. Looking at Momosuke's face, I recalled the female Marines I had seen in Summit War. These Marine military flowers are pretty. Lin An, don't underestimate her just because she is a girl. Seeing what Lin An said, Karina immediately opened her mouth. Momosuke Vice Admiral is a candidate for the grand prize, her strength is naturally. Having said that, Karina stopped talking. Putting his eyes on Lin An's body gave him a slight headache. Of course, it's still a lot worse for you. But her gambling skills are very powerful. Quote. Karina pointed her finger in the direction Momosuke was going. Look at the room she went to. That is the advanced card game that only black cards and those who have won more than 1,000 games in the Golden City can go to. In terms of power, Lin An, you may become the top group of people, but in terms of gambling skills, you may not be her opponent. Is it so powerful? Karina's words aroused Lin An's interest. Although Lin An knows nothing about gambling. But betting is cumbersome. In fact, it is just memorizing cards. The high-speed dynamic vision brought to him by Sparkling Fruit can be said to be unique in the world, 2 copies. He really wanted to know this so-called marine gambling master. Thinking of this, Lin An slowly stood up. Then let's go and see. Let's go. If you want, you can go in as my female companion. Let alone Admiral's alternate. He even beat the real Admiral so many times. Karina, who just casually took Lin An to play, had a look of hesitation on her face. With that said, Lin An took the lead towards the mysterious-looking room. Lin An didn't care that much. As for Marine Admiral, there are 2 candidates. Certainly, he came here this time to have fun and relax. Lin An and Karina entered the room where Momosuke was. Although Karina was a little hesitant, but when she thought that her mission was given by Gilder, she could only grit her teeth and follow. She didn't really want to go there. Didn't you say before that you can go with a black card, and I happen to be qualified for this? Are you really going? Obviously, Zhao Nuo's yes. At the door, after Lin An showed the black card. Now that he is having fun, how could he be indifferent? Chapter 174 Lin An has become a topic. Advertise here. Chapter 174 Lin An has become a topic. Momosuke Vice Admiral, come to play again. In the room, it is extravagant and gorgeous, and the girls are full of styles. Seeing Momosuke and T-Dolphin approaching, someone greeted them immediately. Momosuke looked at the fat man in front of his eyes and nodded. Well, if you're free, so come over and play a few games. Momosuke is a frequent visitor to Golden City, her gambling skills can be said to be top-notch. Even in this room where only Chinchung and Black Card members can enter, they are all very famous. This naturally includes her beautiful figure, face and the identity of Marine Vice Admiral. But these are just additions. In this place where everyone is worth hundreds of billions of Baileys. Unless it reaches Hancock's level, otherwise, pretty women are really nothing to mention, they are just their playthings. Let them be impressed and remember, only gambling. And Momoshiki is one of the people who can make them willing to chat with her. From this point, we can see how powerful the jumping rabbit is. Is there anything fun today? Momoshiki looked around for a moment. Although there are many old friends, there are not many endings. There are a few poker tables sporadically. Looking at the chips on the table is just a pastime when you are bored, not really playing. This appearance is obviously telling other people that we are in a boudoir. Certainly. The obese man looks wretched, but he doesn't do such indecent things as pickpocketing or staring at Momoshiki. Although the appearance is suspicious, but the performance is very gentleman. Momoshiki Vice Admiral, you may not know. But us old guys got the message. A mysterious guest is coming to the Golden City today. Mysterious guest. Momoshiki looked at the fat man suspiciously. The line of sight shifted and looked at other people. She really doesn't understand what kind of person is able to keep the group of the world's top richest people from having fun. This guest has more or less connections with you. The obese man looked at Momoshiki's face and smiled slightly. Is this person still inextricably linked to me? Actually, it doesn't matter that much. The fat man responded. It's a matter of occupation. You are Marine, and the distinguished guest who came to the Golden City today is a pirate. It's just pirates. Are there not enough pirates in the Golden City? Momoshiki disagrees. However, next second, Momoshiki reacted. He looked at the fat man in astonishment. The fat man smiled and nodded, seeing Momoshiki like this. It's really him. Momoshiki frowned slightly, showing an expression of disbelief. There are not many people who can treat the Golden City as a distinguished guest. Even the kings of most countries do not have this treatment. Only the celestial dragons can receive this treatment officially, and the Sea Emperor is the only pirate. If it were the 4 Sea Emperors of the older generation, this group of people would not even have the heart to play cards. Then there is only one answer. Recently, there has been a lot of rumors, the boy who completely attracted the whole world to him. The 5th Emperor of the Sea, the heir of the Whitebeard Pirates, pirate instructor, Lin An. I didn't expect it to be him. In this case, it can also explain why you old guys are so boring. A thoughtful look appeared on Momoshiki's face. The Golden City is going to the sphere of influence of the Whitebeard Pirates this time. Inviting Lin An to board the boat is not only showing loyalty to Whitebeard, but also attracting other people to go. Since it's a gimmick, then the gimmick must not be unraveled easily, otherwise, once the gimmick is untied, those who came rushing for the gimmick will leave directly. Gilder couldn't have done something so stupid. Either this gimmick, that is, Lin An will appear at the latest, or even after the end of this trip. Or just don't show up at all. That's what Gilder, a businessman, might do. But his appearance should be unlikely. Seeb, I can't believe you old guys can't figure this out. Yes. The fat man nodded. The curiosity in his eyes never stopped. It is precisely because I know this result that I am even more curious. The more you can't get it, the more you want to get it and know it. Isn't this the common sense of human beings? Really? Momoshiki nodded at that, and, from what I know of Gilder, he will definitely invite Lin An directly to the Golden City, but he will just hide it. For example, wearing a mask, or making up someone else's face. The fat man accompanied Momoshiki to a gaming table. Looking at the gaming table, another glance at Momoshiki beside him. For a time came nature. Do you want to play? Certainly. Momoshiki nods. The purpose of her coming here this time is to play. As for the Lin An matter, although it was a surprise, it had nothing to do with her. This is someone that even the 4 of Marine's most powerful players Garp, Sengoku, Akainu and Aokiji can't catch. Not to mention her mere admiral candidate. It seems, Lin An, you are very famous. The words of Momoshiki and the fat man did not hide the meaning of the others. Lin An and Karina, who had already entered the door, naturally heard it completely. Karina looked at Lin An with great interest. If we let them know that the devil and monster in their hearts is actually just a young man with an easygoing personality, what do you think they will think? Karina herself is also curious about Lin An. Lin An is the 5th Emperor of the Sea. She had imagined various versions. After they met for real, they never expected that he would be such an easygoing and low-key man. Any other ideas? Anyway, you want to have some relationship with me? Lin An responded calmly. Either use my connections and seek benefits from the world government. Either use my connections to make money in the new world. This group of people will never do anything harmful to themselves, and I only need to be familiar with and understand it to generate value, and they will naturally not miss it. Listen to what Lin An said. Karina on the side looked thoughtful and didn't strike up a conversation immediately. And the Momoshiki aspect. At this time, 8 people have been found. A game was made directly. A man with a pipe was watching Momoshiki with interest. Momoshiki Vice Admiral, actually, I'm still very interested in you. You see, the age gap between me and you is not too big. Why don't you come and be my daughter-in-law? While this person was speaking, there was no lust in his eyes. Chapter 175. Momoshiki who slays the quartet. Advertise here. Chapter 175 The Momosuge Who Killed the Quartet. Obviously. These words were just a trick he used to provoke Momosuge, trying to save Dao from making mistakes. Momosuge looked at the pipe-smoking man without any sign of anger, and said, "If you are willing to give me all your property, it is not impossible for me to marry you." The pipe-smoking man smiled slightly. Knowing that this little trick won't affect Momosuge, no more words. As for Momosuge's proposal, that was purely a joke. He is worth tens of trillions of Baileys, a senior executive of the North Blue Chamber of Commerce. How could he give everything away for a woman? As long as he wants. Not to mention a Momosuge, 100 peaches for him to play with at will. Since everyone has nothing more to say, let's get started. Others naturally have no objection. Said it was a poker table. In fact, they play very simply. It is the stud most often seen in film and television dramas. The size of the cards is a straight flush, that is, a straight with the same suit and color. 4 of a kind, 4 cards of the same card type. Full house, 3 cards of the same type, a pair. Flower, 5 cards of the same suit. Straight, AK, QJ, 10 is the largest, K, Q, H, 10, 9 is the second, and so on. 3 of a kind, 3 cards of the same type. 2 pairs, 2 pairs. A pair, a pair. The size of the card is A is the largest, K is the second, and so on until the end as 2 is the smallest. Players will have a total of 5 cards. All players have a whole card. This whole card will only be announced after the outcome of the final game has been determined. The remaining 4 cards are visible to all. Speak according to the person with the largest card type in the round. A croupier distributes cards, and the number of people who play cards can be compared to the size. It can be said that the rules can be understood as long as they are said once. Only, if you want to play and understand, it's not that simple. The psychological game between each other is the most exciting place. Oh who? An ace appeared in the fat man's hand. Other people's largest is only a 10. In this regard, the obese man showed a touch of happiness on his face. It seems that the god of luck is on my side this time. Talking. The fat man pushed the chips in front of him. 50 million Baileys. It's just the first card. Is it just that big? Seeing the fat man's movements, the pipe-smoking man showed dissatisfaction on his face. The card is good, of course I want more. The fat man said as it should. The pipe-smoking man responded disapprovingly. No matter how good the card is, it's just the first one. Even if you want to scare us away, you can win at most. What's the point? As he said that, Yan Pipe Yong also threw out 50 million Bailey's chips. Obviously, the pipe man didn't believe that the fat man really had such good cards. The main thing is, for them, the money will not affect their lives. Ha ha ha, fat man, do you still want to fool us old acquaintances with your words? Another mustache also spoke at this time. Also followed directly. Same goes for Momosuge and others. In this regard, Fat Lee smiled slightly and didn't care much. Soon, it will be dispatched. This time, the fat man's card is only a 10, and an ace has been thrown into Momosuge's hand. To this, the pipe-smoking man directly opened his mouth to make up the knife. You're just bragging, are you dumbfounded? At this time, the croupier said, Jumping Rabbit Vice Admiral speak. The game is still going on. Lin An watched with gusto, while Karina yawned boredly. I really don't know what's so fun. Just this kind of thing, you can watch it with such relish. If it's just a gamble, this poker game is really meaningless. In this regard, Lin An gave a response. There was a hint of thought in his eyes as he looked at the card table. What's really interesting is the small thoughts and small actions of these people. Look at that fat man, although he behaved indifferently, and he was very strong when he spoke, in fact, he was the most tactful one at the poker table. That pipe-smoking man may seem aggressive and venomous, but he may actually be the kindest person at the table. There is also that mustache, which looks deep and deep, but he is the least scheming person on this poker table. While evaluating the people on the poker table, Lin An watched them in detail. Karina is a little ignorant, what she wants most is the money on the table. It's just that she can't get that money, and she doesn't dare to offend the strongest group of people in the world's business. With a little curiosity, Karina raised her head and looked at Lin An. So, who is the most powerful among them? Momosuge. Asking for flowers. Lin An directly gave his own answer. This guy's gambling skills and psychological quality are the strongest among these people. Moreover, other people have more or less needs for Marine, and will show mercy to a certain extent, but Momosuge has no such psychological pressure. It seems that you are very interested in Momosuge. Momosuge again. Karina comes in nature. Lin An was only interested in it after seeing Momosuge just now. Now I'm praising Momosuge again. The girl's thinking directly aroused her curiosity. Really, have you taken a fancy to him? Speaking of which. Karina looked in Momosuge's direction. A striking beauty mark on the applauded face. This is definitely a flaw in others, but it looks so seductive in Momosuge. 0. Not only that, those white and slender legs. That bulging figure is so attractive. This is an extremely attractive woman. Even if she is also an attractive woman will be attracted to her. Fancy Momosugi. Lin An was taken aback by Karina's words. She looked at Karina in a little confusion. He and Momosugi met for the first time today, where did the so-called not like it come from? The reason for saying this is indeed because Momosugi is the strongest player at this table. Hi. Only 2 people followed at the end. Playing cards in an absolutely fair situation relies only on luck and the grasp of mentality. P.S. Begging for an automatic subscription and a tip, as long as there is one, the author will continue to explode with 30,000 words tomorrow. Loss. It's really no one's luck. And it's the highest straight flush. It was Mustache who spoke. Momosugi even folded directly after the 3rd round of cards were dealt. It's okay, just luck. The fat man smiled slightly at this. The winner this time turned out to be Fatty. Fatty, you can. Someone has already stepped forward. There was a look of speechlessness on his face, looking at the straight in his hand. This kind of card was still lost. At this time, while talking, obviously, a hand of cards on the table is over. This fat man is one of the best.